Should have checked the audio. Hey everyone. As always, I'm going to start by checking that the stream is running. That seems like a sensible thing to do. No, I do not want to answer a survey. And it is, and this sound. Perfect. Hey guys, how is it going? I should probably drop the link in the chat so I can bring YouTube back up. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to copy the link. Copy. I'm going to mute that speaker because otherwise you guys are going to get a lot of feedback. And I'm going to put that in a couple places. General, I'm going to tag everyone. Oh wait, shit. Well, not like that, I'm not. Hang on. This must be so engaging for you guys to watch. I should probably do this before I start streaming. Streaming now at everyone. And if you're watching this in real time, you're about to get a Discord notification if you're in the Copywriting Discord server. Isn't that fun? Although you'll probably get it like before you hear me say this because of the delayed streams. That isn't Copywriting. Alright, cool. Alright. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope everyone is having a good day. Hello, we have G-Man, who I'm just gonna call you G-Man from now on because I don't know your real name. Feel free to drop your real name and I'll try and remember it for next time, but I see you on our streams a lot. Appreciate you being here. James, Breezy, Julio, and Abuday. Nice to have you guys here. How's your week been? What day is it? Wednesday. Hey everyone, how's your week been? You may be able to see from behind me, I am currently in the process of moving, so I'm quite busy because I'm also I'm on holiday from my full-time job. So that's been nice, but I still have to do stuff for it, and then obviously my own businesses, you can never take a holiday from those, so I'm still doing that. So I've been juggling quite a bit. I've organised a lot for moving, so I'm moving on Friday, so in 2 days. So I've been pretty busy, and I'm not stressed. I wouldn't say I'm stressed. I don't often get stressed, but I am kind of like my brain is a bit fried from having to deal with everything. And we also had I was at not a marketing event, but I was at an event, a health tech event over the weekend, which I was in charge of doing the marketing for on our company's display. So I was there all weekend, setting up Saturday, and then just doing stuff and selling on the floor Sunday and Monday. So I just have had not really had a break. But I hope you guys are all good. James says long working week. I feel that, and it's Wednesday as well. So but it's the end of Wednesday if you're in Europe, so you're over the hump. And if not, you're nearly there. Julia, I'm glad you're having a good week. Tomiwa, hey, I'm glad you popped in and said hello. I say hello right back. So with all that being said, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of copy to review that I will try and get through. But also, because my brain is quite fried, I don't mind doing this as a bit more of a chilled Q&A stream, and just like, so if you guys have questions, I may just, this is going to be a lot less structured than usual, which is saying something because they're usually not that structured anyway. But if you guys have questions, I'm probably going to dip in and out of reviewing copy, maybe take a break from that, and then come back and ask a question, because I just need to decompress a little bit. Will your new house have a home gym? No, it won't, but the complex which it is in has a private gym, so that will be fun. From sunny, rainy UK. Very rainy UK at the moment. Outside my window, it's absolutely hammering it down. Okie doke. So, I'm also going to try and be clever this time. And just share, like, one tab at a time. Because then I can come back to this tab and check questions, maybe? I don't know if that's smart. I'll come up with it properly at some point. So, it's been 5 minutes. I've been talking enough rubbish. So I'm just going to get into it and critique the first one. Then I'll probably dip back out, answer some questions. I'm going to try and make it through all 9. If you've done it and I don't make it to yours, my apologies. But everyone, all the copy that guys are busy. Like right now, obviously, I've had to do. I always want to stream, but considering I'm moving and everything and I'm sorting loads of stuff out, don't really have the time to be streaming. But I'm the only one who can feasibly do it today, so I'm glad to be here. So let me share my screen and see what options I have for sharing my screen. Can I just share a single thing? And then if I go back to StreamYard, it's just showing that. That's so cool. Okay, now if I zoom, so I can actually go back to StreamYard and see what you guys see. So now if I zoom in as well, which that might be too much. 850, is that okay? I can see what you guys can see. That is so much better. Oh my god, that's so, I'm so smart. I know you guys can't see what I'm seeing now, but I'm now seeing StreamYard, which is the software we use to stream, so I can see your comments, and I can see the page that I'm critiquing. So that's cool, and then if I pop a comment up, it still comes up. Sharuk says, Sean's busy having fun. He is. Sean has been, if anyone doesn't know, Sean has been in Florida, and he has, so he's done a bunch of cool stuff. Obviously, you know, went to Disney World, as you do, but also he went to a marketing event, and there were loads of huge names there, you know, Todd Brown, Conor Milligan, obviously friend of the show, and I think, who else was there? Perry Marshall was there. So he's been having a great time, just masterminding with all those folk, and we've already had a few interesting conversations about what he's learned and what he's been up to. So that's really cool. But yeah, anyway, I also have my surname there, which is, why do I have my last name? Oh well, whatever. Okay, so drop in the chat. Have I zoomed in enough on this copy for you guys to see it? Please let me know, because I can zoom in one more time if you want me to. But I feel that is enough. If you could just say yes in the chat if you think I'm zoomed in enough to the copy. And I'm also chewing gum, which hopefully you guys can't hear, but you know, it is what it is. I've had a busy week and I don't care about your viewing pleasure. I'm gonna say it's fine. There's also a big delay on the stream by the looks of it. So zoom in a tad. Okay, great. That just came through. I will zoom in one more time. So let's go to 200. That should be better now. That is also the most I can zoom in, so it's going to have to be. Alright, but now my mic is well in the way of the screen. Okay, that'll do. Okie dokie. Let's crack into this then. So, you know what? I'm going to take the gum out and put it in the bin because it's kind of annoying. So for context then, it looks like most of the copy I'm going to be reviewing today is for Copy That's own product pages. So if you don't know, we have a store where we sell masterclasses for people who just want to buy one. And in that, we have product pages for those masterclasses, and we are offering $150 to anyone who wants to write copy for one of those pages. We will review and critique that copy on stream like I'm doing today, and then if we decide that it can be used, we will pay you $150 for it. So that's what this is, and it gives you a chance to say you're a published copywriter, earn a little bit of cash, and just practice copy with a purpose, so you don't have to be asking, hey, you know, what spec piece should I be doing? Well, there's loads of stuff for you to do, because we have a lot of masterclasses. So that is what the context of this is. This is the Make It Rain masterclass, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that up in the background so I can show you guys an example of what this actually is. Make It Rain, there it is. And I will reshare my screen so you can see the proper one. Share screen. Make It Rain masterclass. Share. Boom. All right. So this is what a product page looks like on our site currently. So as you can see, we don't really care too much about our website design. There is usually a creative, an image here, which tends to be some kind of AI generated like random thing, because we're lazy. There's the title for the masterclass, make it rain in masterclass and generating unique copy angles. By the way, the layout of these titles, just to explain them, is something abstract and then something descriptive. That is a relatively proven way of naming info products, which is why we do it like that. This is kind of intriguing and sometimes gives you kind of paints a picture or gives you a sense of like the outcome, or gives you a way to kind of tangibly imagine like what it's like, almost a metaphor. And then this gives you the actual description of what you're going to get from the masterclass. So a relatively proven way of naming info products. A few off the top of my head, the 4-day work week, that is often accompanied by a subtitle, 4-day, 4-hour work week even. We've also got alchemy, and then it's that subtitle of the book. I should probably think of better ones off the top of my head, but I can't remember any right now. But just trust me, like info products are less my thing, but it's definitely a proven way of writing titles for them. Then there tends to be a little description at the top here, and then a breakdown of what the product actually is, so like what you get, who the presenter is, how long it is, and then tends to be some long copy at the bottom as well. Like that's what people have been turning in, but this is what they are. This is how they start out. These are the basics of the copy that we've done, which isn't very good, because we can't be bothered to write for our own products. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. I see that Bisola just asked, can I do it if I'm not a Patreon member? So, like, I don't know if we have a rule about this, but I would say yes, you can do it if you're not a Patreon member, but you have to have bought like the thing that you're doing it for, just because you're not going to know what to write about if you haven't actually seen the product. The only problem is we only put this call out to Patreon members, and we will only critique it on stream if you're a Patreon member. So I'd say you can still enter this if you're not a Patreon member, and we'll review it and we'll pay you if it's good. But in terms of critiquing on stream, we only take these from the exclusive critiques channel in the Discord. So I should probably also say what that is. So if anyone wants to join Patreon who isn't a member, you can join at patreon.com/thecopythat show. Okay, right. Is there a way I can like change my screen without continuously unsharing? I don't know. Oh well. So let's read this. Make it rain, a masterclass in generating unique copy angles. $19.99. This bit is obviously the bit at the top of the page, and then this bit is the bit below the fold, as we call it. Early in their careers, copywriters often find themselves writing the same kind of copy over and over, leaving their work hollow and their clients unimpressed. If you want your copy to be unique, it all starts by coming up with a good idea. Join Rod in this 33-minute masterclass and learn everything you need to know to bring unique ideas to life. Note this masterclass is also available on our Patreon. Secret bonus lesson when you buy today, $15 value. Alright, so first thing that strikes me here is, and I'm actually going to start with a very broad point, which is one that I'm going to try not to repeat too much over this stream, which is that the first thing that you need to establish is, who am I writing to? Like, who is this actually for? Now, what does this tell me about who I think this writer is trying to write to? Early in their careers, copywriters often find themselves writing the same kind of copy over and over. Okay, so immediately you've called out, like, if you're early in your career. So at least you've set the frame as, hey, this is for people who have just started out. I immediately understand what you mean. Okay, cool. I'm not saying that's the right or wrong person's target, but you've set that out immediately. And you know, my strength is obviously in e-commerce products specifically, but let me tell you that a call out is a very, very strong tool in a piece of copy, because it shows that the person who's reading it is exactly the kind of person that should be reading it. And it gives a lot of weight to the fact that they're in the right place. So early in their careers, copywriters often find themselves writing the same kind of copy over and over, leaving their work hollow and their clients unimpressed. If you want your copy to be unique, it all starts coming with a good idea. Alright, so let's look at the assumptions that this is making. So assuming that I'm a beginner copywriter, which is fine, if that's who you're aiming at, great. Copywriters often find themselves writing the same kind of copy over and over. Is that a pain point a new copywriter may have? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Let's see where you go with this. Leaving their work hollow and their clients unimpressed. If you want your copy to be unique, it all starts by coming up with a good idea. So, by breaking just this bit down, what you're effectively saying is this is for people who feel like their copy is not anything special, it's not impressing the people they want to impress, and they want it to be unique, right? Like that's what you're trying to say. Like if you currently feel like your clients aren't impressed with the copy you write, then it needs to be unique. No, we reviewed a few of these last time, and one of the points that I made last time was that a lot of people were immediately, with this masterclass in particular, were trying to say how you can earn more money by generating unique angles. Now, the name of the class is Make It Rain, so like maybe that's why you immediately think that. You can also suggest different names for these classes as well, guys. Like if you feel that they should have a different name. But one of my points was the kind of person who's gonna want to learn about idea generation. They're probably past that point of like starting out with the oh my god I really want to earn loads of money. It's very hard for them to link earning loads of money to you generating unique ideas. Those two things aren't inherently matched up. It's not like finding better clients or how to find clients as you're starting out. Like that's inherently linked to earning more money. Whereas this masterclass just isn't. It's more about it's something a bit more abstract, a bit more self-indulgent, which is I want my copy to be better. Whether that's because you feel like you're not reaching your potential with the copywriting, or whether you feel like it's not impressing clients. Now, for that, I think this copy actually starts out in a better way. I think it has more of an idea of who it's targeting and what kind of thing that they want. Now, what's my main gripe with this is that I think that this could be said in a more tuned in, a dialed in way. What do I mean by that? I mean that right now, it's throwing a few ideas in there, which is, okay, you're a new copywriter, fine. Do you feel like you're writing the same kind of copy again and again? Is your work hollow? Are your clients unimpressed? Your copy do you want it to be unique? Well, you need to have an idea. Like, that's kind of like 3 or 4 different things kind of cramming into the space of like 2 sentences. There's a lot for me to process there. It's kind of left me thinking, okay, well, what is the one thing that I'm worried about here? Is it that I'm writing the same kind of copy over and over? Like, if that's it, then why are you then branching out into all these different things? If that's the big pain point, and for example, like, do you find yourself relying on the same old cliches, or not being able to come up with anything original, or scouring like the internet to copy a piece that's already out there? Like, that then follows this vein of this. It follows the thread of you writing the same copy over and over. You could argue that, saying leaving their work hollow is just a way to describe that, but again, like, leaving their work hollow, what does that mean? Dimensionalize that for me. Like, show me what that actually means. Don't just say it in an abstract kind of objective. And their client's unimpressed. Okay, so now you're introducing a new pain point. Is this the pain point that I should be focused on? These two can be linked, of course, but are you really going to take up half of one of your opening sentences with this new idea when you haven't fully branched out into this idea yet, or followed through with this idea yet? If you want your copy to be unique, okay, now you're talking about uniqueness. Unique from the copy I've written before, unique from everyone else's. Why does it need to be unique? Is that what's going to impress clients? And then you're saying it all starts by coming up with a good idea. There's a lot going on here. You should dial this in. That's going to be my big piece of advice for this piece of copy. Figure out which one of these points is the most important to you, and just talk about that in this opening description. Say, like, for example, if it is coming up with doing the same kinds of copy over and over, express that pain a little bit more. Like, if you find yourself doing this and you're sick of it, this is how to get out of that cycle, or how to get out of that loop. It's generating unique ideas, and there is a foolproof way to do that. For example, like, that is at least saying, this thing that you really hate, this is why you're doing it, it's really annoying, this is the way to get, there is a way to get out of it, this is how you're going to get out of it, right? And it's super reliable, for example. That gives me far more faith in what you're doing. So I think that you have a good idea of who you're writing to. Now try and get to the bottom of what it is that they really care about at this stage. So that would be my main point with this opening introduction for this. I see we had a few comments. Cool. Chelsea said zoom in again. Did you say it before this or after this? If you said it after this, I'm sorry. I don't think I can zoom in anymore, but I will try my best. Okay, cool. So that's what I would say about that first portion. How to craft unique copy that leaves your clients dazzled. You don't need... Okay, great. So, like, if we're saying that this is the big thing of this class, like, that's absolutely fine. We're assuming that they know uniqueness is important. I think you're starting in the right way, like, if you want your copy to be unique. But again, start with this, potentially. Like, you need to link this point to this opening sentence far more easily. How much is this adding to it, really? How much is this linked to this right now? If you know that me as the reader feel that my copy needs to be more unique, you can really lean into that at the start. You don't have to kind of spin out a few other ideas about the work being hollow or clients not being impressed. This needs to be the kind of crux of your idea at the very beginning of your copy, if this is what you're leaning into heavily later. And I don't think this is a bad thing to focus on, because I'm sure that I certainly know that me as a copywriter, and again, like I said beginner copywriter earlier, you say it earlier in their career, so I'm going to assume that this is the kind of person who's already had like a couple of gigs. I certainly speak for myself when I say that I remember often relying on cliches and stuff in my copy and feeling like it wasn't very unique or it wasn't very original. So I definitely get that pain point. I may not have bought a class for it. I mean, I've never really paid for an online course, but I may not. Well, I mean, I have since, but like I didn't back then. But I wouldn't have personally, but other people may well do. And that was certainly something that I think would have resonated with me. Where I'm like, yeah, my copy isn't great. Probably could be framed slightly more strongly than unique. Again, I personally feel like, does all your copy sound the same? Do you rely on the same tropes in your copy, like struggling to come up with something new? That's the kind of thing that really got to me. Anyway, you don't need to be a master of creativity at all. Just the singular skill is enough to put you on the right path to writing copy that stands out and sets you apart. If you're looking forward to having your clients say things like, "This is so good, how on earth do you do it?" I think that was something I said last stream. Listen to Rod, the man that helped Nike coming up with ideas for the 2023's Women's World Cup commercial. And in this masterclass, he will teach how to generate the kind of ideas that allow him to write highly unique copy. Okay, so I think this is relatively strong, especially compared to other copy we've seen that are presenting this masterclass, because again, like I said at the beginning, you have that idea now of, okay, this is the person I'm writing to and this is the thing they care about. Again, can be more dialed in, like I said up here. I think this is too all over the place, but it's obvious that I think you know who you're writing to, and I think you know the way you should be going with it. This is one of our kind of favorite lines for product pages, apparently, because I think we referenced this last week as well, where, opening with a not statement, saying, you don't need this, or like, it's not this thing that you thought of. So kind of positioning your reader as like, you know, this thing you think that you might need, don't worry, you don't actually need it. That's quite a strong opening because it immediately gets rid of an objection. Is this the right objection for this? You know, potentially. But again, something that I find happening down here is that you've assumed that they want unique copy, and they want copy that stands out and sets them apart. I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I'm not saying that's what people don't want that. But then you are leaving a lot of assumption. You know, you're making the reader assume a lot. Like, you're assuming that they then link that automatically to idea generation, and that actually coming up with new ideas is the way for them to have unique copy. I would argue that's probably a bit presumptive of you to think that they would immediately think that, because this kind of goes straight from, hey, you know, your client's going to be so happy with you, well then you need to have good ideas. Those things haven't necessarily linked yet. I need a little bit more gradualization. I need 1 or 2 lines in there to tell me, like, well, you know, it makes sense that unique ideas lead to unique copy because you're positioned in a way that you never have before. It's something that no one else has thought of. I think, again, just from my gut feeling of this, leaning into that anti-cliche style of writing for this would be really useful for you. So you know that the clients won't think, oh, you're just another copywriter, or you're basically just AI. You know, this is, like we said, this isn't necessarily about making more money. This is more about being a better writer, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice that you're taking that angle. Okay. So hopefully that's helped so far. Let's have a look at a couple bullets. Teach you how to generate plus uncover why copywriters don't get paid for writing words, the dirtiest copywriting secret, and what to really bring to the table if you want to stand out. Starting your set of bullets with a plus is a baller move. I like that. It's kind of like a bit weird. Usually you see pluses at the end or a little bit later on, but fair enough. Let's have a look at this bullet though. Again, we often like starting with timestamps because it makes it feel more real. So if you're actually intrigued or interested by this piece of copy, you know that all you need to do is buy the masterclass and skip to this section if you know to see that. So that's why you'll see timestamps on all of these guys. You don't have to do timestamps on these, by the way. Like I think everyone has just started doing that because they think, oh, we love it. You don't have to do timestamps. A timestamp every now and then might be more powerful potentially. Plus, uncover why copywriters don't get paid for writing words. So, uncover, nice, better word than learn because it's it feels like there's less effort to it, so it feels easier for me. Uncover why copywriters don't get paid for writing words. So, again, like, you're going off of what Rod has said in the video, which is why you've included it. What you need to do with bullets, and again, this is something I don't think a lot of people think about, is we talk about bullet writing in isolation quite a lot, but actually, if you've just said, you know, this is how you write unique ideas, does the opening line of this, you know, you're not getting paid to write words, does that kind of link to that? Is that continuing that theme? Not really. This now makes me think, oh, Jesus, this now makes me think that you are starting to talk about like how I can earn more money, or like a salary potential or something like that. Another point, you know, why copywriters, you framed a lot of this like in the kind of I guess the third person, I don't know if that's the right term, where you're talking about others, you know, you're referring to copywriters. Maybe worth it at this point just to write you, to be quite direct. So, you know, uncover why uncover why your path to unique copy, or your path to creating original copy, has nothing to do with X, for example, right? Like, that's a far more powerful thing. So I'd say if you're opening bullet, probably link it more to the idea you've already had, and consider talking about them a bit more at this point. The dirtiest copywriting secret, and what to really bring to the table if you want to stand out. Again, like this first line and this second line, they don't seem linked. It seems like these could almost be like separate bullets. So it's a little incoherent, this first bullet. We'll do 3. So we'll do 2 more. I didn't know he was a DJ. Watch how Rod remixes a headline and brings a completely unique angle to life for a survival promo. Like that, it's funny. Yeah, again, so we see a bullet that starts off with something that's extremely intriguing, which is like, okay, well, why would you say that? Watch how Rod remixes. Bring in a unique, interesting, original idea, a headline, and brings a completely unique angle to life for a spy promo. I actually like this bullet. I think this is a solid bullet. I think that it's coherent with what your message is, talking about how you create unique angles. It's teasing an original way to do that, which is remixing a headline, which is something that actually makes me go like, oh, okay, how would you remix a headline? Because when I look at headlines in the wild, or when I think of one, but I think, oh, it doesn't quite hit, I'm quite interested in how could I make that potentially better for myself without having to think of a brand new idea. And you're grounding it in, I'm going to see him do this for real. So I like this bullet. I think that's a solid bullet. Warning, one of my favourite bullets, the warning bullet. See the one thing never to do when working with your clients if you don't want to lose your job. It's practically a death sentence of your career. See the one thing never to do when working with your clients if you don't want to lose your job. That's clumsily worded. I think that could be worded a bit more simply. For example, warning, what you should never do. I think you're doing almost like a double negative. So that's actually just confusing, but it could be cleaned up anyway. So cut some words out of this. When working with clients, if you don't want to lose your job, it's practically death sentence in a career. Again, my problem with this one is this relevant to what I have been reading this product page for, which is, according to you, the idea is uniqueness and how to write unique copy. Now you're talking about how my career could end if I don't want to lose my job. Like, is that what I'm worried about with this? I don't think so, personally. I think, again, if you brought this, I know you're going off of what Rod has said here, but I would ask myself, is this relevant? Or if you really wanted to include this because you think, oh, it's just a little extra, you could even put like bonus tip. And you could say, discover how not understanding unique copy could even spell the end for some of your client relationships, or could even get you fired by clients or something like that. Right, that's making it a bit more relevant, and it's bringing in another aspect they might not have thought about, which seems like they're getting something extra, plus you're putting bonus in, so it makes it seem like, oh, there's a lot more to this, actually. If you've been yearning for some recognition from your work, and genuinely you want to do an exceptional job, but you still keep generating the same kind of copy over and over, this masterclass will give you the tools necessary to come up with great ideas and write unique piece of copy, finally earning the respect you deserve from your clients, or now to get started. Now, ironically, I feel like you've hit on the idea more strongly at the very end of your copy than you did anywhere else, which is, and this is something that we established last week when we were talking about it, which is that the kind of person who's going to buy a masterclass like this, almost one of the things that they want is that recognition, that idea that they actually are doing something that's unique, that is original. It's kind of a self-fulfilling idea. If you've been yearning for some recognition from your work, you still keep generating the same kind of copy over and over, which of course you said earlier, earn the respect you deserve from clients. Like, this is closer, I think, especially this line, to a coherent message, which is that if you want to be a better copywriter, if you want to produce better copy, then you need to stop producing the stuff that everyone else produces. I actually, anyone wants to go away and write this product page for this masterclass, I would almost angle it in a, if you really want to set yourself aside from AI and copywriting AI, then you need to know how to come up with authentic human ideas, and this is how you do that. This is how clients will look at your writing and be like, oh wow, this is clearly something very different. I actually think that kind of message would do a lot better. And I think you're starting to hit on it here, like being recognized by clients as something that is unique, that is different, that they don't just find everywhere else. So starting with that, I actually think would be a stronger idea. So there we go. I think that this is probably like going in the best direction of these that we've seen. So well done for that. Again, I don't think, as in its current state, I don't think I would pay for this, just because I still think that it's not quite. I think this masterclass is actually quite difficult to write for, because I think that there's a less tangible benefit to it, or it's a bit more, it's a little bit more arbitrary than some of the other master classes we've done. So it's harder, I think, to come up with like, what is the idea that's going to sell this? And I don't think you've quite hit it, but I think that you are in the right direction much more than the others were, which were just trying to go back to the kind of standard, make more money or find more clients. Dear God, 35 minutes and we're going down one. Hopefully that was useful. Oh man, there's a few comments. So let me check these over. Hey Steve, my guy, how's it going? I hope you're enjoying your trip. And what the hell was that noise? My phone just made noise that it's never made before. Alright, fine. Is it me or does Alex like Tom Holland? That is an insult to Tom Holland. He's a good-looking chap who works out a lot more than I do and has that movie star kind of cleanliness. So thank you. But yeah, I don't think that's done him justice. Perhaps he grew his hair a little bit and shaved the beard. Yeah, I mean, again, this is just a failure in personal hygiene than it is as style. Okay, everyone's just discussing my face. Reviewing for copy that only today. Yes, the ones I have up now are the only ones I'm going to review today. And I'm going to probably come out of it now and give everyone a bit of time to... In fact, what I'm going to do, you know what, I'm going to read the rest of these comments, and then I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to go back to critiquing. Ruben says, you know what's unique? Warhammer 40k. You know, you're right, Ruben. And you know how to get my attention. Now, if I wanted to be a really big nerd, I would move my chair to the side, and I don't know how much of this you can see, but you can see, like, I don't know, 6 boxes, only some of which are still full. And then behind that is my carry case of all my Warhammer models. So I'm not getting them out right now, but they are all ready for transit. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to review one more piece of copy. Like, I'm going to review more than that, but I'm just saying, in this next period of time, I'm going to review one more piece of copy. Then I'm going to pause, and I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A for anything. So whether you're a patron or you're not, if you have a burning question about anything copy or marketing related, etc., drop it in the chat now while I'm doing this next critique, and then I will go back to the top and I will try and read all of them. If I don't get any, then I will just move on to the next piece of copy. So if you have any questions about anything copywriting, anything marketing, anything outreach, anything, drop them below. But for now, I will stop sharing that, and I will move to the next one, which is untitled document. Damn, that's exciting. That one. And don't worry, I will zoom in. How do I zoom in? Because there's no, view, there we go, zoom 200. Storytelling masterclass. Okay, I think this was Sean's. Was it Sean's? Yeah, Sean's. I feel like I haven't actually watched this one, so I don't know what's in it. I don't think. We've done a lot of masterclasses. Alright, storytelling masterclass. You know the game by now. You know what the product page looks like. How to naturally build intrigue, an advanced masterclass on using storytelling to sell. In the copywriting world, storytelling is a powerful tool for any beginner's toolbox. It's not just technique, it's the key to grabbing your reader's attention. Storytelling will build intrigue in your reader so they feel compelled to read the rest of your copy. This means your reader will get to your offer and buy. It's an easy skill to pick up. You hear and tell stories every day to persuade and influence the people around us, so why not use that skill to get paid? Being able to evoke an emotion is important. You'll be able to do this with your copy using the power of storytelling. Mastering the skill of storytelling will put you ahead of 90% of other copywriters. Okay, 2 things to this. 1, that's a lot of words, and they're not conveying a whole lot. There's a lot of telling there, and not a lot of showing. Oh, don't worry, I'll analyze this. I won't just say this and move on. But number 2, this is the perfect time to do the thing that this masterclass is teaching people how to do. Tell a story. Like, again, you don't have to do that. You can just do a product description, but, like, come on, man. Like, this is talking about how storytelling is important. I would personally, if I was going to do this product page, I would do this like it was a story. And as we all know, or as some of us may know, often a piece of advice that's sought after in copywriting is start your story at the point of highest tension. So opening it up with, I don't know, Mark Ford. We all know Mark Ford. I know that Sean obviously was mentored by Mark Ford, and I know that Mark Ford has ripped Sean's copy to pieces before. I think this would be great if it started almost from Sean's perspective, and it started off something like, in quotation mark, again, this would have to be a real story, so like, I'm sure that Sean, or I know that Lindsey definitely has spoken on stream before about how Mark Ford has like ripped their copy to shreds. I would almost start with a quote and just say like, this is terrible. Mark Ford said as he like berated my copy, or they were the two, or this is terrible. So this is terrible. The 3 words I never wanted to hear Mark Ford say about my copy. Okay, like that's far more powerful, I think, in just grabbing you than in the copywriting world. Storytelling is a powerful tool for any beginner's toolbox. And it's storytelling, so it's actually showing an example of doing that, and you're starting the point of highest tension. You could then go on to say, one of the world's best copywriters had just ripped my piece to shreds, and I felt like I was never gonna again. I never wanted to feel that way. I knew that I never wanted another client saying that I wasn't a good copywriter. That's why, but I'm glad that he didn't stop there. He told me about storytelling, or what the fuck ever, right? My brain is not in the copywriting mode right now. I'm not going to write the whole thing for you, but you understand where I'm going with it, is that you start, you practice what you preach, you show that you're actually using storytelling, start the point of highest tension, and then link that into how storytelling became important for you to get better at copywriting, right? But again, advice doesn't change from the other product pages that we've looked at, which is who you're writing to, like who's gonna be interested in this. An advanced masterclass in using storytelling to sell. I don't think I've watched this one, so I don't know what Sean goes through in it. I would assume, knowing Sean, that he speaks about the literary and rhetorical power of storytelling, and how it can punch up and fundamentally improve copy, rather than how it's going to be good for getting clients. So just like the idea generation masterclass, I would argue that this is another one which is better to aim at a copywriter who wants to improve, like you've said, like their toolbox. Whether that's a beginner, whether that's just a copywriter, I think that I don't think it matters too much. You can decide. I would actually be tempted to say, to not even frame this as to beginners, but just saying like to any copywriter, and I would actually be quite open about saying like it doesn't matter if you are a beginner, if you are an expert, or if you consider yourself somewhere in between. If you are not 100% certain about your ability to tell stories, you need to see this masterclass. Like that is the way I would frame this, because storytelling is such a wide-reaching technique, system, model, whatever you want to call it. So there you go. That's just a kind of a value edit for you that I would suggest going back and looking at. Use storytelling here. Let's actually look at this copy though for what it is. In the copywriting world, like, okay, well that's redundant. Immediately, I'm going to start with line edits, right? We've done the value, now let's just do some line edits, right? In the copywriting world, immediately, like, that's not doing anything. I don't need to, you don't need to include that, right? Storytelling is a powerful tool for any beginner's toolbox. Okay, cool. You then you kind of go on to talk about why, but this should be immediately screaming at me like, why do I need this? What's in it for me to know this thing? Okay, it's a powerful tool, but what's it going to do? I would, again, err on the side of showing like, or kind of straight up almost accusing, saying, are you 100% certain of how to tell stories? Because you can assume that the people who are reading this have already been told that storytelling is an important thing. It's probably one of the first things that copywriters hear. But I would be challenging people like, do you know how to tell genuinely powerful stories so people cannot put your copy down? Or would you like it if anyone who started reading your copy just had to finish it? That's why you need storytelling, because it is the most consistent, way of, or in my experience, it's been the most consistent way of ensuring people read from start to finish. Like, that shows me what's in it for me. That shows me why I should need it. You kind of do that by saying it's the key to grabbing your reader's attention, but again, that's not particularly highlighted for me. So a bit of fluff here in the copywriting world. It's not just a technique. Like, these things aren't doing anything for your copy. Storytelling is a powerful tool. Okay, why? Why do I need to know it? What makes it powerful? It's the key to grabbing your reader's attention. Okay, I know this is important, but that's not particularly drummed up for me or painted out in a way that, oh my god, yeah, I need to know this now. So that's what I would say for that starting bit. And then these three things. Storytelling will build intrigue in your reader, so they feel compelled to read the rest of your copy. This means your reader gets your offer and buy. Okay, so this is what you've kind of like started to address. But again, is this the most effective, direct way of saying or getting the message across that you're trying to get across? Storytelling will build intrigue in your reader, so they feel compelled to read the rest of your copy. This means your reader will get your offer and buy. Could we say this more evocatively? Kind of like how I just said, a direct accusatory question, which is, would you like every person who started reading your copy also finishing your copy, or would you like it if anyone who read your copy just had to finish it? That's what storytelling can do for you. Maybe a second one that's framed like that, and then ending with that's what storytelling can do to you, and maybe a third thing that's framed in that way. That's what storytelling can do for you or for your copy. As we know, we like a bit of repetition, but right now these three bullets seem relatively disconnected and kind of just put in there because they're things you've thought of. So okay, I don't think the idea of this is bad, or like having this in here, because I think you're showing, okay, this is why it's important, but it's quite disconnected from what you've just said before. Like, you've said it's the key to grabbing attention, now you've said it's building intrigue so they read the rest. Those seem like kind of two different things to me. It's an easy skill to pick up. You hear and tell stories every day to persuade and influence people around us, so why not use that skill to get paid? Now you're saying that it's easy to learn as well, which isn't a bad thing to say, but again, in the first three bullets, is that the best place to say that? Have we said everything else we need to say about it, like I mentioned earlier on? So why not use that skill to get paid? Again, like, is being paid the thing here that we care about? I don't think so. Being able to evoke an emotion is important. You'll be able to do this with your copy using the power of storytelling. Again, you've just kind of thrown in like, oh, you need to do this thing, by the way, remember. And you're going to be able to do this with this. Again, like, it's a bit all over the place. It seems like you've just thought of three things and thrown them in. My quick fix for this would be tell a story. Do the thing that you've been talking about. And make sure you have that one idea, that key idea for storytelling. Highlighting that every copywriter talks about why that storytelling is important, but they don't often say like the real why of why it's important. They don't often talk about the reason that it's so crucial. Imagine if everyone who started reading a copy just had to finish it. Storytelling is all about making sure that people see your offer, because if people don't see your offer, they will never buy to begin with, right? I'm not saying that's the idea you should go with, but that's an idea you've already kind of picked out, and that in itself, if you're using that as the single thread for that opening idea, that could be far more powerful than what you've done here. These are kind of supporting benefits, saying it's easy to do, potentially you can make more money with it, or it's a really valued skill, but throwing them all up in the first bit, I'm not sure if it's so important. Mastering the skill of storytelling will put you ahead of 90% of other copywriters. Again, like another idea we've just kind of thrown in here. Yes, like this may be true, but it hasn't so far. You haven't given any reason as to why this would be the case. You don't say that it's hard to get right. You don't say that most people don't understand how to do it like in the easy way. For example, you've just kind of thrown this in here. Start using this technique today to accelerate your career as a copywriter and start proving to clients you know how to persuade. Again, like, do I care about proving to clients that I know how to persuade, or is this more just about me writing my own copy and my copy being better? Is this about accelerating my career? Again, all these things, they just seem like buzzwords that you've seen other copywriting courses and other copywriting products talk about, so you've thrown them in. Does it really connect with the person who's reading this, what they want to be hearing? I don't think so. As a beginner, okay, so now you're going back, so you're saying beginner copywriter. So that's now who this is focused at. If that's the case, and like, this is the person you're targeting, like, this becomes a bit more relevant, but again, I think there's a disconnect here between what this masterclass is actually teaches and who you're trying to target at. Again, I don't think a beginner inherently understands why storytelling is important, so you need to make them kind of understand that before they even get to this page, because otherwise they won't care about a masterclass on storytelling. And, you know, you're now talking about earning more money and accelerating your career, which is something you don't mention up here. You just say this is a tool for your, you know, tool for your toolbox. So again, just all over the place. Like, who is this really focusing on? If it is a beginner copywriter, that's fine, but you need to spend a bit more time showing them, like, this is why it's important for you, because this is the stuff that you value right now. Getting more clients, for example. But again, I personally don't think that that's what this masterclass should be themed towards. This masterclass will give you a good place to start. All you need to do is watch a video and put these simple skills in practice. I don't want a good place to start. I want a thing that is going to solve my problem right now that I'm thinking about. Like, what? You're asking me to pay money and all I'm going to get is a good place to start? I don't think so. If I'm paying money, I want the full answer and the solution and the means to not buy anything else again. So, just think about putting phrases like that in, because it makes me feel like, oh, okay, so this isn't everything I need. God, right, this isn't the right class for me. It might seem hard, but it's really not. Okay? Why is it not hard? Don't just tell me it's not hard. Show me why it's not hard. Is there just like a formula I need? Is there something that Sean is going to reveal that is like the key no matter what? Do I have any objections to thinking it's hard right now? Again, a lot of these lines I think you've just thrown in and you haven't really thought about the structure of the page. Having the ability to tell your readers to say yes will put you miles ahead of many copywriters who are competing for the same jobs and the same clients. Okay, but again, like if you're saying now this is the reason to buy this because you can get more jobs than other people, how is storytelling going to help me do that? Like, am I going to just tell the client, hey, I know how to tell stories, and they're going to be like, oh good, I'm going to pick you over this person? Am I using storytelling to pitch to them? It's not obvious to me why this is important to me as a beginner. You're just kind of saying, hey, yeah, you should know this thing. These copywriters are missing this one simple technique. Have instant access to it right now. Would you believe me if I told you that Sean had taught creative writing for 5 years? Nah, he's an idiot. How about if I told you that he's an award-winning fiction writer who's been paid $5,000 for a single short story? Well, if you don't believe me, then let Sean explain to you with the power of storytelling. Like, again, like, well, if you don't believe me, then buy a video, is basically what you're saying there. Like, fuck off. Like, of course I'm not, if I don't believe you, I'm not going to buy something from you. Would you believe me if I told you that Sean had taught creative writing? Again, like, this stuff, these aren't necessarily bad things to say, like talking about, you know, Sean understands storytelling more than anyone, but I'm still not convinced why I need storytelling by this point, right? You can assume that someone already thinks storytelling is important before he gets to this page, that's fine, but you're then talking about, you're trying to convince a beginner why it's important, but I feel like you haven't actually done that yet, and then you're saying, oh, but don't worry, this guy can tell you how to do it. Well, I don't really care if he can tell me how to do it or not yet, because I don't know why I need it. And again, these aren't framed in the best way. Would you believe him if I told you this, or how? You haven't got a frame like that. Just tell me. You know, just say Sean is the one who's going to share all the secrets he's learned over 5 years teaching creative writing and winning awards as a you know, fiction storyteller or whatever. There are 50 slides just like this in the video. I actually like this as an idea, like showing, hey, there are actually stuff like this, and then showing an example of what's in the video. I think this is something that people should do more in their product description, so I actually like this. I think that's a solid idea you've had there, and I think that's good. I think that's good initiative, and that's good instinct to show that, hey, you know what, to get someone more interested, I'm going to show them something they could be having in this video. Effectively what bullets are doing, but even more powerfully than bullets, because I'm seeing like part of a story here. I'm seeing part of like a solution, but I don't know the context around it. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't think this is probably the best slide to use personally, but you know, showing a slide and saying there are 50 slides, you know, I think that's not a bad, again, not a bad proof point. Saying, you know, there are more than, you know, Sean has made a 50 slide plus presentation to make sure you understand everything there is to know about storytelling, for example, or everything that you need to know about storytelling as a copywriter. But maybe using a slightly more intriguing slide than this, one that comes in the middle of an answer, or maybe with a bit of it blurred out, for example. I think that shows good instinct there. P.S. Here are timestamps put together by fellow patron Rex. How are stories used in copy? What makes good stories for sales copy? It might be easy. What even is a story? Again, like these are just timestamps. These aren't exactly bullets. This is a weak example of bullets. You've basically just done, like, yeah, there's some intrigue in these, of course, because I imagine whoever has, you know, if you've timestamped this, you've put a bit of intrigue in each one. And I'm not saying this is a bad idea to do for 1 or 2 bullets, because it's actually kind of like, you know, something that's quite short and sweet and intriguing or interesting works quite well. If it's also interspersed between things that are a bit more descriptive and a bit more like, you know, this is actually what you're going to get and you're going to discover this, or, you know, etc., like the ones we reviewed in the last piece of copy. So again, I don't think that this is the strongest way of intriguing me to buy it. Stick to the proven method of using bullets for this, okay? Because it's you know, bullets that adhere to those pieces of advice we give out when we talk about bullet writing. So there you go. Again, this isn't in a state that I would pay money to use this copy. Hopefully, I've given you some good ideas to take away from that. I would love to see this rewritten, but in, you know, using the thing that this masterclass actually teaches, I think that would be really cool. Okay, cool. Let me stop sharing for a second, because also my brain is goddamn fried. I probably am not going to get through all these today, guys. And you know something else? Like, I don't know if any of you guys stream. Obviously, I'm not a serial streamer, but it's so much easier streaming when you have someone else with you to like talk to, because you haven't got to do all the talking. So let's just go through some of these comments we've had. What was I going to say before that? Don't know. I asked for questions as well, but like, I know there's not tons of people here because I haven't really advertised this stream very much, so I'll probably just answer the one question that I can see. Watch too many copy that videos to know about Warhammer's relationship with Myatt. Yeah, you're right. James said, I tried last week and got rejected. Okay, it needs to be different from what I tried last time. I'll try to write it for next week. Dude, write it for next week. Try again. Take this advice. Really think about it. Have a look at our other videos as well, where we reviewed other people's copy. Like, don't just look at us reviewing your copy. Look at all the copy that we review. What are we saying in those videos as well? Like, what are we criticizing people for? You know, what are we saying? Like, you know, don't do that, or try not to do this, or try this thing instead, and try and bleed that into your own copy. You will get there. Like, don't worry, you will get there. It's just about trying again and again and again and again. I failed 100 times before I got paid for anything. G-Man says, when sending copy in general, do you have to include actual images to clients or just a box with text saying image here? I'm sure we have a video about this where we talk about, I think it's in the Copywriting 101 series, where we speak about like how we actually deliver copy and stuff like that to clients. Have a look, go to the Copy That YouTube channel and look in the Copywriting 101 series that Sean and I did. There's a video in that where we talk about this. But basically, it completely depends on the relationship you have with your client. Most clients, from my experience, if they already have worked with copywriters before, they won't expect you to get the images. Like, they'll have designers for that, or they'll have a team who can do that for you. And you'll be working with them. Clients who are like local businesses, they'll often expect you to do everything, like marketing, so, you know, get used to that. But then there's also the concept of wireframing, which I actually just released a landing page, like a how to write landing page masterclass on the Patreon. So if you're a patron, go and watch that, because I talk about wireframing in that video, and that's kind of just a box with saying image here, right? When we talk about images specifically, think of if the image serves a purpose in relation to your copy. Kind of like how we just reviewed that one. Like what we were saying was, that was that image teasing out some of the part of the presentation. That served the purpose. It was doing something really obvious for the copy. So I would say, in those cases, if the images are related to the copy, then definitely give the context about what you think it should be, or give an example of, give the actual one. But, if images are just there for the sake of it, I always question, okay, well, why do we need an image? Often you'll find when writing with clients and companies that they've got a website that they want nicely designed, so of course there will be images with it. But it depends. We love that answer. It depends. But if you're saying, do you have to include the actual images? I would say in general, no, if you're being hired by someone who already knows copywriters. But that doesn't mean you can't give advice or an idea of what you of what you want to send or what you think should be there. I'm trying being direct and being more coherent with the messaging. James, I want you to try something. I don't know how you write or what your process is. Maybe you can reply to this as I'm doing the next one. But try drafting out what you want to say. Not the actual copy, just what you want to get across before you write anything. Really write down, okay, what is the idea of my copy? What's the one thing I'm trying to get across here? What is the one thing I'm trying to connect with the person on? What do I know they care about? And what am I going to build up around that? For example, in that one, I know that they care about their copy being unique, or having every tool in their arsenal, or showing that it's something that's a must-know, right, for any copywriter. That's the idea I'm going for, is that just going for look, if you're doing any kind of copy, you need to know how to do this. That's the idea, for example. Then just note down, okay, well, if that's the idea I'm starting with, what do I need to layer into that to make it come alive? What is the next thing I need to say? So is it that this is what it leads to? For example, you'll need this, and when you understand this, it sets you apart from X% of people. So that's what it's leading to, and it means that you're going to have better results from your copy, or it means that people are going to be able to finish, your copy and see that offer. Okay, great. What is the next thing I'm now thinking of? If you've shown me the idea, you've told me the benefits, what's the next thing I'm thinking of? Often it's an objection. It's yeah, but I don't really like writing, or I don't feel very creative. So then is it saying, don't worry, you don't have to be creative to do this. It's really, really simple. In fact, in the 50 plus slides that you're about to get, Sean shows you exactly why anyone can do this, even if they're not confident in their writing abilities. For example, start doing that. Start laying it out in that way. Okay, even if you're not 100% confident in it, just say about, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to get across. You don't have to write the actual copy, just say, I want to get this across, and then I want to get this across, and I want to get this across. And think about what the person who's actually reading it is going to then think next. What's the next objection they come up with? What is the next piece of proof they need to see? What is another benefit that you can use to then support this other thing you've just spoken about? For each thing you say, then ask, okay, have I proven that? Have I explained it well enough for them to understand why it's important? Then always check, does this really need to be said? We've spoken about how to write copy and edit copy loads of times before, so go back to some of those videos and just have a look and follow that process. But if you want a quick fire thing of what you should be doing differently, I'd like to see you actually plot out each thing. And if you want to turn in one for next week, I won't be here next week because I will be without Wi-Fi because I'll be in my new place, and annoyingly they have to set it up in 10 days time instead of on Friday. But what I would love to see next week, or whoever, and I give a bit of context in this on your document, I would love to see your actual plan for that laid out. That would be really useful, because then we could understand what your thinking process is and why you're going wrong with it. But yeah, always just be constantly checking the viability of the message that you're trying to get across. Does it actually make sense to jump from this to this? Any tips on segue? I'm bad at transitioning one idea to next, to connect, like connecting body and CTA. I think that, again, kind of like I was just saying to James, like, establish what it is that your reader is going to think. Like, copy shouldn't be written. I don't know why it's just focusing on my microphone. There we go. Copy shouldn't be written in like isolation. You need to consider that anyone who's reading this is ideally going to be reading all of it, or at least skimming through it. So it's not like, I think often people think copy quite mechanically. They think of it as, okay, I need to do this thing, and then I need to do this thing, and then I need to do this thing. And it's fine to plan it like that, but constantly be checking it against yourself when you're reading through it. What is the person who is reading it likely to then think next? What is the next thing they need to hear? Just asking you that question for yourself, the segueing then becomes a lot easier, because you understand, like, okay, well, this is why it's relevant to that last point. So, for example, if I'm a reader and I'm reading some copy, there's always going to be something that's stopping me from buying there and then, right? Because if I'm convinced, I'll go and I'll buy the thing. But let's say I connect with the idea, and then I really like the benefit that it's going to give me, but then I have an objection around, okay, but like I don't believe I can do this. I feel like I don't have enough experience to pull this off. The next thing that you need to write is, this is why you don't need to worry about having experience, basically. And it can be as simple as saying, and perhaps the best part is you don't need any experience to make this work, for example. It's fine to, like, when you, because I've thought about it in that way, I've thought from the reader's perspective first and what's the next thing they need to hear, that next line then becomes very easy to write, because I'm linking it back to that idea. Because they've thought from that idea, okay, that sounds great, I want this benefit, but I don't believe I can do it. Your copy can then mirror that and go, this is the idea, you've said that, that's great, and the best thing about this idea is that you don't need any experience to make it work, right? That's now moving on the copy, segueing into a different thing that you need to do for your reader, but because it's mirroring how their thought process is working, it's a much more comfortable way of it working. Then you say you need proof of that, and that's when, because they're going to be like, oh, it's good to hear that, but now I want some proof, like, is it really that simple? So then you can say, here are a few examples of people who've already done this that had no previous, exposure to the cement mixing world. And then some actual testimonials, or a few little video testimonials or quotes or whatever. Do you see how not just writing randomly? Because I think when you start writing randomly, it then becomes quite difficult to segue, because you're like, where do I go from here? When you're thinking about, okay, well, what is the next thing they're going to care about, it becomes much easier to segue. And also, like, don't be afraid of moving on to a completely different point. Like, it's fine to lead the reader a little bit as well. There may come a point where, the obvious stuff has kind of stopped. The reader has kind of got to that point where, like, they're not necessarily going to have any more objections, but they're maybe not quite convinced yet. This is where you can then, there's nothing wrong with, like, layering on another benefit, or talking about an extra bonus they get. Moving things to just add to that persuasive power, So there's nothing wrong with stopping a section of copy and then starting another one with a totally new subhead, which is going to be quite enticing to them in another way, So whether that is like a supporting benefit to that point, or whether it's a part of the offer, like, or a free bonus or a guarantee or something like that, like, fine, great. Don't be afraid to just fucking say, right, okay, this is the cut, here's this next thing I'm now talking about. Especially for people who skim, like, they're often people who are going to kind of catch those bits and be like, oh, okay, right, that's the thing as well, cool. So there's certainly, like, natural breaks in copy, and that's fine, but certainly follow that thread and think about what your reader is thinking about up until a point where it stops naturally, okay? So, like, those testimonial section, for example, that might be a natural stop. Or you may find that from your research, from talking to people, another thing they really worry about, for example, is, how reputable the source of this cement mixing accreditation is. So then, after testimonials, you can just have like a strip banner which says, backed by the International Federation of Cement Mixers, backs up what you're saying, like, even more. Does that kind of make sense? And this is why, going back to James's query, it's why planning it out is so important, because it shows you, okay, what are the things that people need to hear and likely to care about. Ruben says, cheers on Moon, dude. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate it. It's been I've been looking for a while for the right place, because it's been intending to live at this next place for a while, until I kind of am at my next kind of threshold of like big money, I guess I would say, which kind of is embarrassing to say out loud, but like that would be the next thing will be like a I want to say like a mansion, basically, or something that's really like proper rich man living, I guess. This next, and don't get me wrong, like this next place is like I would be so happy here forever, in this next place, and it's still like what I considered rich, like 5 years ago, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, definitely gonna live here for at least a few years while I save that next level. But I appreciate it, dude. It's been stressful finding somewhere nice, but I'll be living in the center of my favorite city in the world, in a kind of like the nicest location and building in the city, and it's been something I've waited for a long time. So it's actually a little bit emotional. I'm actually very, very. It's kind of surreal to think about it when looking back at the last kind of 5 years in the career that I've had. So I appreciate that. I'm scared of being too direct. James, why are you scared of being too direct? And 2 questions I want you to answer in the comments. What do you take too direct to mean? Like when you're talking about being too direct, what do you mean? And why are you scared of doing it? Another James, says, hi guys, posted a portfolio just for review a few weeks ago. Well, not been checked yet, but there's a backlog. Should I repost for next week or now? Cheers again, love the content. James, I'm not sure if you're a Patreon and you're doing it in exclusive critiques or if you're just doing it in the regular critiques channel. How these work is that because we're unorganized, we will just put out a call for Patreon copy before we do a Whetstone Wednesday, and whoever gets in after that call first, like until we stream, we do it in that order. Reason we do it like that is because keeping track of all the stuff that gets posted and like sent to us in DMs is just too difficult. So you just have to be vigilant for when that gets tagged. You can always kind of DM us and say, like, please can you make sure this one gets reviewed, and sometimes we'll see those messages and trying to make sure that's the case, but that's kind of the rules we play by for these critique streams. G-Man, you're welcome. Hope that helped. Christ almighty, there's so much copy to review. Okay. Oh man, hang on. Turn my notifications on the next time. No, it's our fault. Like when we all have time, which I don't know if we'll ever fully have time for copy that because it's a hobby business, but we will try and be a lot more organized with this. We may even invest in someone to like keep track of it for us, but yeah, sorry about how this works, but I appreciate you understanding. Oh god, man, there's now more comments. Not direct. I think for me, I sometimes try to put power words and emotional evoking words, and ends up a bit not direct. Not sure quite what you mean there. James says, I think it's my beliefs that writing is fluff, and I just write to entertain. Okay, so I'm trying to kind of amalgamate these 2 comments into one. Writing is not there to entertain. I know some people think advertising is there to entertain, which I personally don't agree with that sentiment fully. I think there's value in it, but I think that if you're thinking about copy as a way to entertain someone, I think you're thinking about it in the wrong way. I say I have 2 reasons. Number 1, because the ultimate purpose of copy, in the direct response world at least, is to sell, and if it's not doing that, and if you're not persuading or confirming someone's expectations, then there's no point of you writing the copy in the first place. So your aim is not to entertain, your aim is to sell. Number 2, if your aim is to entertain, or that's a really big value you have is to entertain in copy, then the problem you have is you rely on what you think is entertaining, and we're very subjective as humans. So if you write to entertain, often you're just writing to entertain yourself, not your reader, and that's where it gets fluffy and boring, because it's like, I don't care about this, how you're writing about this. You really need to kind of get your own writing out of your head and think like, look, I'm not writing this for me, I'm writing this for the person, and this person is short on time because they have to go and pick their kids up from school, and they're annoyed that the kettle isn't working, and they want to move to the dream house that they've had in mind for ages, and they want to book a holiday, but they can only afford to go to Birmingham instead of Hawaii. Like, this is the person you're writing to. They're stressed, they don't have a lot of time, they want to know the information, and they want to make sure it resonates with what they feel. That's what you're writing for. You're not writing to entertain them, or entertain yourself, or indulge in your own self-desire about what good copy is. You're writing to save this person time and to make sure that what they want in life is put in front of them in an easily deliverable way. That's what you're writing copy for. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So that is what my main advice would be around, am I being too fluffy? Am I being too entertaining? Am I not being direct enough? Think of that person, and in the context of your own audience. But think about that person and think about how you can deliver your copy in the most timely, effective, direct way for them, because ultimately that's what matters. Hey Alex, I just hopped on stream and I just want to say you are someone I look up to. Thank you so much for everything, and I'm still starting out, but thanks Alex, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you, stranger. I massively, hugely, enormously appreciate that, and you have no idea what that means to me, so thank you very much. I don't know if I'm someone to be looked up to, but thanks. Hey TLH, extremely late today. Hello everyone. Hello, don't worry, we're jumping right back into reviewing copy now, because I've spent too long answering questions. Let us share screen. Share screen. What is the next thing? Market research product page. And I will zoom in. I have remembered, I've learnt my lesson. This is for how to be sticky. Watch professional copywriter's full research process. That's my one. I'd like to keep the top of the product page as it is. Below is the bottom of the product page. Note, this is the second edit after being critiqued by Alex. The first time critiquing this copy, Alex told me I should focus on one audience, specifically the problem-aware ones, those who only need to have better market research systems, and so I wanted to keep the top of the product page as it is. Okay, now, the problem for me is, like, I forget critiquing stuff because, like, so much happens during the week. So I need to remember, just for a start, let me go to, I know you guys can't see this on your screen, I just want to go and remind myself of what the top of that product page actually is. How to be sticky. Okay, I should probably share that bit with you just so you have the context. I will find an easier way to do the sharing. So this is what it is right now. How to be sticky. Watch professional copywriters full research process. How should you conduct research? In this one-of-a-kind collection, you'll see Alex's step-by-step method for unearthing the most reliable messages to use in your copy. You'll get 11 videos of screen recordings and commentary, totaling 3 hours 54 minutes. An intimate, over-the-shoulder look at research that was conducted for a real business, which Alex talks you through. Alex talks through what he's doing, plus a surprise bonus, and most importantly, you'll discover how you can apply the very same research techniques to your own copywriting projects. I'm pretty sure I wrote this. Like, it's not the strongest copy, so you certainly can rewrite it if you want to, but if you're saying you want to keep it, I'm not going to hold that against you. Again, we're assuming that this, like we've spoken about, we're assuming this is someone who just wants to know how to do research, which is often a question we get. In this one-of-a-kind collection, so something that's unique, you'll see Alex's step-by-step, so easy, and someone who's proven, who obviously you may look up to because you already know who I am, for unearthing the most reliable messages to use in your copy. Most reliable, so safe stuff, So yeah, it's not bad copy. Alright, cool. So that's what the top of the page is right now. So let us return to this. Stop sharing and share to see the actual copy that we're going to be critiquing. Any other comments quickly? If you're making a living producing copy, that's something to look up to for someone just starting out. I suppose that's true, and I used to think the same thing about other people. So yeah, maybe I am a hero. Maybe you guys should look up to me. Okay, thanks. Right, so let's read this. So this is below the fold. So this isn't the top. We're keeping the top as it is. Let's read. Watch as Alex takes you step by step through his complete market research process that generates millions of dollars. Well, okay. First of all, not saying this is a bad, like, kind of. Not saying it's inherently bad. This is just kind of repeating the top of the copy that we just read on the page. So I would argue, like, you know, it's not bad to repeat. I'm just saying, could this be framing it in a slightly different way, which perhaps makes it even more appealing, but not bad just repeating, because again, as we know, repetition legitimizes. The more you repeat something, the more it feels like, okay, this is a real thing. The gripe that I have with this subhead is research process that generates millions of dollars. Like, that's true in the sense that I have generated millions of dollars by using this research process. I would err on the side of caution of saying that it does generate millions of dollars, because, you know, that could be inferred as this is a promise that if you use this, you will earn millions of dollars, which is not something that, you know, we would want to say. We want to be fair and realistic in this. So even just changing that to the research, his complete market research process that has generated millions of dollars, that would be slightly better. Just a slight thing to look out for there. Warning. This process is not for those copywriters who want to sit around and get paid. Far from it. It's for those who want to digest the framework, methodology, and processes of the truly successful copywriter and take the next big step in their copywriting career. I like this as an idea, as a way to start out. This is what we call disqualification. So this is pretty much... Now, disqualification is a misleading term because the purpose of it is to disqualify people who may be reading this from buying. So, for example, if I'm reading this and I just want to sit around and get paid, I'm going to go, oh, it's not for me, I'm going to click off then. However, what it's actually doing is really, it's qualifying the right people. So anyone, it's kind of like a call out, like we spoke about earlier. Anyone who recognizes, like, in this that, oh, well, I'm not that kind of person, you know, no, I do want to put the work in, then they're going to feel like, well, this is a lot more for them. So I like this as an idea. I think starting off as this with this kind of disqualification at the top, I think is decent, because also it's true to the product. And something we perhaps don't talk about enough is, you know, we talk about persuasion in copy and then how to write persuasive copy, but perhaps we don't talk enough about, like, how to stay true to products to make sure you're not, like, misleading or you're not misrepresenting your product, because that's actually super important. And I think this is good. I like that, you know, especially as the person whose product this is. I think that's a good way to start it off. However, I think the second half of it lets it down slightly. It's for those who want to just frame a methodology and process of truly successful copywriting and take the next big step in their copywriting career. Like this, it strikes me as a bit generic. Like the big next step in their copywriting career. Like, what does that mean? Like, why? You know why these people want to, like, know about research. So talk more about that. You know, go back into whatever that reason is for them. You know, it's for those who want to. Again, far from it. That's not doing anything. Cut that. It's for those who want to digest the framework, methodology, and processes. Like, does anyone really want to digest the framework, methodology, and processes? Not really. Or at least I would say you can say that in a more succinct way. You know, it's for those who want to mirror the reliable method of a truly successful copywriter. Like that implies an immediate benefit of, like, oh yeah, I want to. It feels safe. It feels like once I know this, I'm never going to have any problems again. And take the next big step in their copywriting career, like, you know, and ensure you're only ever getting the best level of research for your copy. Because again, people have already. Again, this isn't the kind of thing where I think people are going to watch this because they want to earn more money. It's the kind of thing where people watch this because they want to write good copy. So I would just think, like, is that the most poignant thing to end on there? I don't think so. So if you don't wake up in the morning, strip the sheet off your naked body, jump out of bed and scream to the heavens, I want to be a copywriter, then please click off this product page and enjoy the rest of your day. I feel like that's a Sean line. I've definitely heard that before. But yeah, again, same thing, just doubling down on disqualification and showing, like, yeah, no, this is me. I would say we could maybe make this a tiny bit more concise. Because again, like, some double negatives and stuff in here. If you don't wake up in the morning and jump out this, then it isn't for you, is kind of what it's saying. So if you don't do this, then it isn't for you. Just confuses my human brain a little bit. So, you know, just clean it up. I'm not gonna banish you for that, but I would say perhaps just think about like how to make it slightly more comprehensible. Comprehensible, I think that's the word. Just me. Carry on then. Nothing inherently wrong with humor. Like, I know we like doing it in our product pages, but again, I would say, what is this adding? Again, like, I want to know why I should buy this. Like, give me the reasons, show me the thing. I'm not saying this is bad, it's just fluff. And ultimately, on a product page, fluff is not something we want to try to keep in our copy. Let me just come back to the chat real quick, just to see. Okay, let me move on. All right. Anyway, I am making my live producing copy that will uplift my family and help me so much for business and the free content they gave. I was just so happy right now. I'm so ready for this. Stranger, you're awesome. I hope you have a wonderful day. Go and help your family. Go and make as much money as you possibly can. I believe in you. You're gonna do it. And I'm glad we're making that easier for you. Again, we've mentioned this a few times in recent videos, but for everyone watching right now, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be by the end of this year. It's probably gonna be like Q1 next year, so the start of 2024. But copy that. We're gonna bring out a very, very, very big free set of courses for everyone on YouTube. This is literally like, it's probably going to end up being between like 8 to 12 hours long in total, and it's going to cover all the basics of how to become a copywriter, how to write good copy, how to do good research, all for free, and how to make money, and hopefully a lot of money doing it. So, and there's no catch. There's no like, oh, you have to pay for a course to get like all the information. Like, this is going to be for beginners. This is how you start it off, and it's going to be the most complete thing, hopefully, that anyone's ever put out. So, Stranger, I hope you look forward to that, because that's being made exactly for people like you who have that righteous goal of wanting to make you and your family's lives better. Just seeing your website, mate, very professional. How would you classify display my website or Copy That's website? My website is like not even finished. I feel like there's loads of responsiveness issues, and I can't remember why I did. I think I like made it in 2018 initially, not the current version, but like the original version, and it was crap. And I think like maybe last year I kind of realized that if anyone was looking into me and went on it, I'd be like, oh, I should probably update that. So I updated it, just put a bit of, kind of just wrote some copy quick. So it's not particularly well thought through. And I feel like there are probably some old pages in it that don't even fit the theme of the rest of the website. So thanks, I'm glad you think it's professional. That was just me on WordPress. How would you personally advise to display your copy portfolio on a personal website if you've got samples of plain text stuff? I don't think you need to show a portfolio on a website. Like, you can. Again, I've spoken about this before. Copywriters don't need websites. You don't need a website. You can have one if you want. But it's not a necessity. If you want to do it, again, we've spoken about this, like, the better designed a portfolio is, the more seriously you're going to be taken by clients. So I would always advise either linking up with the designer to do it, or just getting yourself like a free version of Canva and just making it look good. And even just having it as an image, or having a smart widget that people can click on and then see a full version of. It's like a filter. Yes. Oh, maybe you're talking about disqualification? Maybe? Do you guys have good content to get into SaaS copywriting in Patreon? I'm interested in making a pivot to that industry. I write SaaS copy right now. That is like the main thing that I do. Should I make a video about that? I have never made a video about SaaS copywriting, which is weird because I've been doing it for like a year and a half now as my main thing. Is there anything in Patreon about it? Not that I can think of. There might be. We've done a lot of stuff in Patreon, but again, I would say it's the kind of thing like you don't need a specific video about SaaS copywriting. It's just good copywriting. But I will. That is now on my radar. I will try and do. I will try and do some SaaS copy for you. I also have today which is another reason I have to go kind of earlier. I'm not going to get through all these pieces of copy today, guys. I'm sorry, but an e-commerce video is going to drop on Patreon as well. So I look forward to that. Jimmy Chimpers, yes, indeed. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I'm sure you're going to make it. Alright, I got a bit emotional here. As long as you follow the advice that is free out there on the internet, don't get duped into paying any money for stuff. We've been talking about Patreon quite a bit now. Only sign up for Patreon if you can afford it. Like if you're a working copywriter, or you don't have to work copywriter, I guess, but like if you can afford Patreon, sign up for it. If you're not in a place where you can comfortably afford it, do not sign up for it, okay? Like, we have so much free stuff that will get you to where you need to be. Please just use that. Don't let any other copywriter dupe you into thinking, oh, there's one method, there's one thing that you need to start earning money as a copywriter. Like, there isn't one paid course that's going to get you there, okay? Plenty of free stuff. And the whole point of us bringing out these free courses in the new year is to kind of always push people to those. So whenever someone says like, oh, should I get this course by this person or this course by this arsehole? No, just go and watch all this free stuff. Then if you don't make money from these, consider another career. Like, that's kind of the point of them. It's going to be hopefully just more than enough to make any more money. Nice answer. Would you generally advise actually getting in-house or trying to freelance? For in-house, how would you get a gig with no prior experience, and which would you recommend? This is a big question, and we definitely answered it before. Go to the Copywriting 101 series on YouTube and have a watch of that. And also watch, if you go to Copy That YouTube channel and you go to the live tab, I want to say like all the way to the bottom, because I feel like it was one of the first live ones we did, and watch the How to Become a Copywriter in 2023 video. Now that talks about a course that we do. You don't have to buy that course, and I would say like probably don't buy that course, because like that's not the reason I'm trying to direct you to that video. But in that video, I'm almost certain that we talk about freelance versus in-house. So go and watch that, because we talk about that a lot. I think it's just called How to Be a Copywriter in 2023 or something like that. TLDR answer for this is I went freelance first, and then I went in-house, and I still do like consulting on the side. So I'm biased in that I really liked that way of doing it, because I felt like freelancing gave me the breadth and the freedom to learn a lot of stuff. However, bear in mind that I had a full-time job when I started freelancing, doing like nothing to do with copywriting, but I had financial security. So I wouldn't say just quit everything to do freelancing straight away. Please make sure you're financially secure in whatever you do, even if that means eating shit for a year, like just to make sure you save up enough money or you're secure enough somewhere. But for in-house, how would you get a gig with no prior experience? Again, it's difficult to get a gig with no prior experience in-house, because often they're not going to take a punt on absolute newbies. So it's the kind of thing where you need to get experience. How do you get experience? By freelancing. Easier to get gigs as a freelancer with no experience than it is to get an in-house job with no experience. So do offers use. Again, this is just my advice personally. This is what I did. I offered to do work for free for local companies. I did stuff for charities, just to show that I had published work out there and it had made money and stuff for people. Because that immediately gives you, you've been a hired copywriter technically. And I started doing freelancing by actually pitching myself to local businesses for paid gigs, and going online and emailing and sending Loom videos to people. And I went freelance first, and then I went in-house. I'm not saying you can't go directly in-house, but in-house positions, they're only going to hire you with no experience at like an apprentice level or at a very, very junior level. So, sometimes passion can shine through for that, but not going to be particularly great pay, and you're going to be limited to just doing the stuff that they get you on. So it's up to you, but I like going freelance first. How do you think formulas can be beneficial to play around with for those that are relatively new to copywriting? That's a really good question. So like when I started copywriting, I don't think I've told this story before. When I started copywriting, one of the first formulas I ever heard about was PAS, and I heard about that from Copy Hackers, from Joanna Wiebe. I really like their stuff, by the way. I think they're a solid place to start as a copywriter. But I learned about PAS, which is Problem Agitation Solution, and I was like, when I heard about that, I was like, oh my god, yeah, like this is the best formula ever. Like it makes so much sense to do this. What I quickly realized is the more I got copywriting gigs, the more it didn't make sense. Like that just didn't always make sense to do that, because focusing on like a negative angle wasn't, like it didn't quite hit with the person I was trying to read to, or like the problem that I was trying to solve. Like for example, I was like using this example like with a shower drain cover, right? Like PAS for a shower drain cover is kind of like, what are you doing? Like just say, explain that it's in 4 different sizes, that it covers any shower hole, that it's durable and it's going to last at least 2 years, and that it comes in a pack of 4 so you can replace for ages. That's all you need to do, right? You don't need to do like, oh my god, do you really want to cover the drains of your shower? Don't you hate it when you step in there and your toe dips into the hairy pit? Like, you don't need to talk about that. So PAS, any formula, it does fall down. Do I think it's beneficial to play around with for those that are relatively new? I think maybe yes. I think maybe it's beneficial for you to like sit down and go, okay, if I was doing it in this formula, how would I write it? Just because it gives you that kind of immediate direction of like, let me try playing around with some copy. But do I think that that's the way you should think about writing everything? No way. I think that having a non-prescriptive method where you're thinking more about like, okay, who am I writing to? What do they need to hear? What do they want to hear? Like, what do they want to hear about? What's the offer that I'm showing them here? What action do I want them to pursue? Like, thinking about those things is going to make you a far better copywriter, especially in the long run. How do you balance call with customer who works 9 to 5 when I also work 9 to 5 and haven't fully transitioned to freelance copywriting? By customer, do you mean like someone who owns their own business? Because often they will do it in the evenings, or on lunches, or go in while they're working. Take a holiday if you have to. But often the evening times, like that's when I did loads of my stuff. Often just emails, and then if maybe I'd organise a call when I just like went to work. I had the luxury. It was during the pandemic actually, so I had the luxury of working from home. So I could just kind of sneak off to do a client call. That was a great answer. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Oh, the in-house one. I was like, can't remember what I just answered because I just answered about 3 things, but thanks. Like those infomercials where people have difficulty doing basic tasks. Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of stuff. That's kind of comical when you're writing an Amazon product description, right? Like, do you have trouble opening milk? But the good thing there is, the only person who's going to be buying like a milk opener is someone who has trouble opening milk. So you at least know that about them. You just don't need to assume that for every single product ever that people have such an inherently awful, horrible problem that they need to have agitated and highlighted. Alright. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm going to have to make this, like, maybe the last one. I feel bad. I'm not going to make it the last one. But I am going to then speed through the rest, and I'm going to just give my gut reaction and give you, like, 3 bullet points of how I feel you can do better. I'm really sorry. It's just because I still need to do some editing of this video I want to get out. But if you're a Patreon, and if you're a Patreon, it means, it's your copy I'm reviewing, it's good for you, because you're going to get another video out today, maybe tomorrow morning, depending on the schedule upload, but it should be today, all about how to make money as an e-commerce copywriter. Like, yeah, I'm actually going to do a how to make money video, which I kind of, like, I love doing them, but people often find them disappointing because I'm brutally realistic. But yeah, this one's going to be a bit more of an upbeat, like, hey, if you're considering e-commerce, like, this is how to make money off it, like, this is why it's quite a big industry, this is why there's a lot of potential there. So let me rush through these. Alright. Cool. The truth is, knowing how to do market research doesn't mean you're going to write a good copy. Again, guys, that it's just copy. Remember that. It's not a copy, it's either a piece of copy or it's good copy. So write good copy or write a good piece of copy. Just remember. There you go, like you do right there. But a great piece of copy is always backed by a proper research process. And you probably know that by now, hence you're here. Well then, if I know that, why do you need to tell me it? Delete. What you don't know is how, unlike most market research courses out there, this one-of-a-kind collection will play a vital role in your journey as a copywriter moving forward. Again, this is fluff. Just tell me and show me why it will play a vital role. Don't tell me it's going to play a vital role. your own advice. If you have any sort of skin in the game, then chances are at a certain point in your journey, someone has probably drilled this principle into your head. But why does this have anything to do with me becoming a Get Copywriter, you may ask? Well, because you're rather just telling you how to do market research, Alex is going to show you a 6-figure copywriter does research. Again, this right here is the main idea of why this product is good and different, because it literally shows you how to do research from start to finish. Like, that's the whole point of it. I was doing it for a business. I was thinking about the messaging. I was thinking about how I'm going to build the product. Like, this shows the broadest kind of range of research possible, in an over the shoulder view of me doing like 13 hours. Like, that's the main idea of this, and that is inferred. Like, someone will infer that, oh my god, this is going to be so powerful just by you saying this. But instead, you have basically spent like, you know, kind of 8 or 9 lines saying stuff that like isn't, well, not, you're not that bit necessarily, but like you've spent like 8 lines down here like saying stuff that doesn't really mean anything to me right now. Like, let's just do an experiment. You know, what do you think is more powerful? Like this, all this we've just read through, or just saying this is the only course that we know of, that shows you an entire research process from start to finish. No edits, nothing cut out. You can see it. You know, it's like you're sat next to Alex for 13 hours while he shows you exactly how to perform market research. What's more powerful? This or what I just said? What I just said is more powerful because it's showing this is exactly why this thing is so special. And as we kind of established up here, it's relating to that thing you really care about right now, which is learning how to do good market research. And again, you've got like parts of this here. I can tell you kind of know roughly what to do, but again, it's the point of why you're not saying this further up. Like, why is there all this fluff here first? Really need to kill your babies, guys. You need to really be ruthless when you look back at your copy and be like, okay, is it actually adding anything to the copy? So often it isn't. So often you can get to the point so much quicker. In this series of videos, you're actually going to take a seat next to Alex himself, where he'll talk you through his entire thought process, frameworks, methodology, do's, don'ts, and all the tips and tricks that make your life much simpler than it ever was. I mean, just imagine the immense value you get from being mentored by someone who's killing it in the scene, especially on things that will set you apart from the rest. Again, like, I think that's a good. You've got good ideas in here into sparse. It's just they're sat within kind of parts that don't have a lot of punch and don't have a lot of meaning. While he walks through his entire process, frameworks, methodologies, do's, don'ts, all the tips and tricks that make your life much simpler than it ever was. What do you mean my life much simpler? My research process is this simple. Maybe give a bit of specificity here, like tease out like the things that I will be showing you, like, you know, the 4 frameworks he uses, like the exact document template, like the 15 things he's learned about this, the 7 things he's learned to never do. You know, I can't remember all the stuff that I said in those videos, but some specificity and around like what it actually is and why it matters to you is going to be much more effective here. And then again, like, this is a decent point, like just saying, you know, it's like you're getting mentored from someone who's already proven themselves in this world. You know, this isn't, you know, there's no fluffy. This isn't a fluffy article or like, you know, buzzwords about random acronyms. Like, this is a dirty, in the trenches view of how to get research right. That's powerful. That's fucked. If that makes me go, God damn, this is the thing that I want to watch. You'll discover the simple reason why doing research properly can make your copy unique. Why do I care about why the copy is unique or not? How to make your research much more efficient. You'll learn more about the market in less time than it usually takes. A simple way to use your competition to your advantage. You won't be able to unsee it once you understand static. Again, these are fairly weak bullets. Like, go and watch some bullet writing masterclasses. Variety in bullets often is super powerful, but like, you've kind of got the same thing of like benefit, parentheses, and they're not, again, there's not much specificity to these. There's not much. It's not really intriguing me to like, oh, I really want to know what that thing is. A simple way to use your competition to your advantage. Why not tell me the quote that I use? You know, like, quote me and something I say about that, which is going to make it quite unique. Just saying, you won't be able to unsee it once you understand this tactic. Like, I won't be able to unsee what you're talking about. Like, I won't be able to unsee it online. I won't be able to unsee my competition or how to use my own advantage. Like, I'm not sure. Again, just think about what is this actually trying to say. Perhaps saying like 99% of copywriters have no idea how to do this. That then makes it more like, okay, so I'm going to be unique here. I'm going to have something that no one else has. Cut the fluff. Again, I would say take your own advice on this. Have a look through this and be like, okay, what here doesn't need to be here? Okay, enough bullets. Let's stop telling you that it's good and actually show you why it's good. Okay, nice lead into showing the actual testimonials. Insert more testimonials here. Find more testimonials. Then I would say don't just, remember you're pitching this to us. You're submitting this as something to be a finished piece of work. Don't just say insert more testimonials. 50% of being an in-demand copywriter is to have a research process that allows you to know your audience like the back of your hand. So if you want to know how the pros are doing it, then you won't be disappointed with this one. Again, 50% of being an in-demand copywriter, like this just feels like you've just thrown this in because you feel like, everyone wants to be in demand. Like, it doesn't matter right now. Like, that's not the reason that I want to know about research. Allows you to know the audience like the back of your hand. Again, like, that's a relevant point, but this is a cliche. Like, think of, show me a bit more, like, give me a real example of why this matters to me, not just a cliche, phrase. So if you want to know how the pros are doing it, then you won't be disappointed with this one. So yeah, again, not something I pay for. Watch this back and have a look at, how I would, listen to the advice that I've given. Did you work in marketing in such an area related to copywriting alongside when you started freelancing on the side before you started working in-house and gain experience, or was it unrelated? No, completely unrelated. I was an internal auditor for 2.5 years, which was pretty boring, very crap. I was an apprentice. I was on £19,000, I think, a year, which is like not very much. Nowhere near where I wanted to be, and yeah, I was lucky in the sense that the pandemic happened. Obviously, you would rather that it didn't happen, but I was lucky in the sense that it gave me the space to work from home and to do like copywriting work alongside that. And then I was waking up like very early in the morning, and then I was staying up very late at night just doing copywriting. So that was my thing was. I think I've said before, like openly, it took me like a year and a half to get a copywriting client because like I was so worried about jumping into it. That wasn't me trying like that whole time. That was me like just not wanting to do it. So I was learning so much. I kept reading more books. I kept going to more forums. I kept talking to more people. And like even pretending like I'm like, oh yeah, like I kind of know what I'm doing here. Like I know what I'm talking about, and I'm trying to Google like what people are saying to me. I was really scared of getting started. So yeah, I was working for like 2 years alongside that, and then I dove in, started my freelancing, started an agency as well, or not started an agency, joined an agency, started another one of my own, and then quit my job, which was because I started earning more money from copywriting alongside my job than from my job. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to quit my job and do more copywriting. So that's what happened. So finance all. No, not finance. Internal auditing. So internal auditing, God, prepare for something boring. So external auditing is all about finance and is all about balance sheets and making sure that everything works in and out. Internal auditing is all about systems and processes, and that can span across company. So that can be management, that can be operations, that can be finance, of course. It can be event coordination. It can be grounds maintenance. Like it can be anything. And for me, I worked in local government doing that. So I worked in Bedford Borough Council, riveting place, and I was an internal auditor. So I was doing everything that the local government needed. So basically, just making sure everything was working properly. I did like the council's canteen, all the way to like schools. To grounds maintenance was one that I did, cemetery keeping, making sure, genuinely, this isn't a joke, making sure gravestones were in the right lots in graveyards was something I did. Key maintenance and cutting. What else did I do that was quite fun? The Bedford River Festival, we did that. Which, I want to tell an anecdote about that, but it's not related to copywriting in any way. It will probably waste your time, and I actually think I'm not allowed to tell it, because it would probably be quite embarrassing for Bedford Borough Council, so I'm not going to say that. Maybe in a Patreon-only stream, I'll say that, so it's behind closed doors. Yeah, I did loads of stuff. There was another one I did that was really funny. Oh, I can't remember what it was now. There's one I always say, like, oh yeah, I did that. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, do you still recommend free work as a beginner? I personally do. Like, there are a lot of people who take a very strong stance on this and say never work for free. That's fine. Like, if you never want to work for free, never work for free. For me, working for free was how I got started, and it gave me the respect, and it gave me the results, and it gave me the kind of client referrals I then needed to make money. My personal advice to people is swallow your pride, prepare to eat down some shit, like, to get to where you want to be. Don't just expect life to hand you something on a plate. And if you need to work for free to get that exposure and experience and portfolio pieces and referrals and testimonials, then you do it. Do it alongside paid work that you're doing, you know, in your regular 9 to 5. Like, stay up later, get up earlier. You can always find time for it. Very similar. It's a word of audit triggering. Yeah, no, I know. I did technically do some external audit, like in internal audit, just as one of the things you have to do. And I hate finance. I'm sorry, Sean. I hate finance so much. Like, it just bores me. I need to get out of that because I should probably be earning like 20% more money than I currently do if I cared about like investing. I promise I will do that after I move, Sean. Please don't hate me. But yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. All right, there we go. So that was that. That was that one. Another question: how many courses do you take before you started copywriting? I didn't take any courses. I did. Well, okay, that's not technically true. I did the Copy Hackers like free one. Copy Hackers free one. I don't know what that's called. I don't know if it's still a thing. And I did a free one by a guy on Reddit. I mainly read books, by the way, which is the caveat to this. So I read one of the first copywriting books I read was Take Their Money by Carl Milligan, which again still serves as the basis for like how I view copy and how I analyze copy. So it was really cool to have him on the show and to go on his show. Scientific Advertising, I think, was the first book on marketing I ever read, which is why it sticks with me and why I always recommend it. I read a lot of books. In terms of courses, yeah, I think I did maybe Copy Hackers, like a free one. I didn't do any others. I never paid for one. I've paid for them since just to like see kind of what they're like. But no, I never paid one to start with. I don't believe you need to do a copywriting course to get started. You definitely don't. So yeah, I think I had another point there to make, but I can't remember what it is. So don't worry. How old are you? I don't usually like talking about age. One of the reasons being because I'm fairly young, it's always been something that's been used against me when I've tried to like, progress myself. But for full transparency, so I'm 23. So I've been doing copywriting since I was 18. So I've been doing it for 5 years. I think I first heard about it when I was 17. I technically first did it when I was 15 without knowing what it was, which was fun. But I didn't start when I was 15 and keep doing it. I just did it unknowingly. Then I worked in a chip shop, and then I had like regular stuff. And then when I was 17, I kind of stumbled upon it again, and then started doing it a bit. And then 18 was when I really actually, I think when I got my first client was when I was 18. So yeah, I've been doing it for 5 years now, and I'm now 23. Scientific advertising, audiobook experience, great. Go and listen to scientific advertising. It is somewhere on my bookshelf. Where, I don't know. Where is it actually? It's like a really old version. I don't know. It's somewhere there. I don't know. I can't find it right now. But that's also because like a load of my books are packed away and there's only a few out, so maybe it's already packed. Hey, God, can you tell I'm starting to waver because I need to still edit stuff. All right, guys, let's quick fire through the rest of these. But patrons, please know I love you so much, and you're the only reason we can do this hobby as a business. But I will make it up to you by giving you an e-commerce how to be an e-commerce copywriter and how to make money from e-commerce masterclass in Patreon, which will be going up tonight. So let's just share the whole Chrome tab or the whole window. Yeah, share. And you guys should be able to see these. I'm pretty sure you can. Okay. Let's really quickly go through these. Okay. One reader. SaaS business owner that wants to improve his or her landing page conversions and get more leads, blah, blah, blah. One idea is Basecamp implementing a site new change. One offer is click to get email, CTA, which is for you. One motion, no information. Okay. Subject lines. This is an email, right? Obviously. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a subject line. Revealed. The simple 2-minute change that boosts SaaS conversions. Solid subject line. I like that. Decent subject line. The simple 2-minute change that boosts SaaS conversions. I work with SaaS. I'd probably open this. I'd probably be like, I'll quickly skim it and see what it is. See if what's interesting. Preview is increased conversions every time I've tested it. I would maybe be a bit more specific for this preview. Say like of the tested 17 times, succeeded 17 times, for example. Hey Sean, what have I told you that you can bump your conversions and even lift your MRR, monthly recurring revenue, just by adding a little block in the corner of your landing page? Ooh, I like that. That's got me intrigued, because I'm like, well, I want to know what that is. Like a little block in the corner of a landing page, you're almost making me imagine there's this thing here. Find out everything in this short video. Is increased conversions every time I've tested it and only takes like a minute to implement. Even Basecamp, which had one of the best landing pages in SaaS last year, has just updated the landing page to add this little block. So if you want a proven, quick, and easy way to increase conversion in your SaaS landing page, add this box to the corner of your page ASAP. Just gotta do it here to more conversion ability. Also, I have a question for you, Alex. I'm thinking of buying. Oh, this is just. This isn't copy. Okay, alright. I was gonna say that was weird. I like this email. I like this email a lot. I think this is a very, very good example of a DIC email. DIC, disrupt, intrigue, click. Spoke about why I like the subject line. Hey Sean, what have I told you that you can bump your conversions and even lift your MRR just by adding a little block in the corner of your landing page? Like, ooh, that's intriguing. So the disrupt, by the way, guys, is this thing. So this is something that is you're trying to grab their attention with. Revealed, always okay, well, I want to know what this is. I would, you know what? The only thing I might mention is cutting this down a little bit so you can see, you're more likely to see the whole subject line so it doesn't get cut off. For phones, like it may get cut off kind of here before SaaS. So I might just change this to like, maybe just delete simple, just 2-minute change, or just the 2-minute change that boosts SaaS conversions, or 2-minute change equals SaaS conversion boost, right? Or this 2-minute change equals signs SaaS conversion boost, for example, right? Just something that, if I look at what are the important things in this subject line, it's 2-minute change and SaaS conversions, right? Like those are the two things. Just making sure those elements are visible to me so I immediately know it's relevant, something worthwhile. Or alternatively, using the preview as one of those points, so you can definitely make sure it's seen. But I definitely like having the specificity here as well, just to add a bit of weight to the proof, add some proof to this claim that you're making up here. So that's the disrupt. So it's got my attention. Okay, well, like that's disrupted me because that's relevant to me, so I want to have a look at it. What if I told you that you can bump conversions and lift MRR just by adding a little block and calling landing page? Well, that's intriguing because I want to lift MRR and I like bump conversions, and that sounds like it's really simple. And now you've told me, like, I now want to know what this little block is. Like, that's super intriguing. I really love that. Immediate CTA, find out from this short video. Well, I'm probably going to click that. Is increased conversions every time I've tested it, and it only takes like a minute to implement. Okay, great. So not only, you're making a claim there, and you're also saying it's super easy. So again, that easiness is, yep, really nice. I like that. Making it seem really simple, and I feel like I'm going to get some value for free. The proof you've said here is Basecamp, who are of course a very well-known SaaS, have just updated their page to look at it. So you're not just giving me proof, you're also giving me like something that I can go and check myself. The only thing I might add here is I might even add an image showing the new Basecamp landing page, just with the corner of it blurred out, just with an arrow pointing to it. That might be more like, okay, well, that's definitely proof. I really need to see what this is now. So if you want a proven, quick, and easy way to increase conversion, so landing page, add this block in the corner of your page ASAP. Just got to do it here. Super solid email. Not really any fluff. Packed with proof that actually backs up that one point that you have. Intriguing. Really good CTA. I like that a lot. Well done, Ollie, if that is the person who wrote this. Okay, now everyone can like see my thing. I've talked to a copywriter and he is 17. His client pays him 1K. Now does copywriting actually pay you 10K? Is it me or just generally? I mean, look, like copywriting is not an age thing. Like you can kind of be any age and do copywriting. Like I would say the younger you are, the less likely you are to be successful in it, just because clients are less likely to take you seriously and you have less like rights to do things online. But it's certainly possible. I don't know if you're asking me if copywriting actually pays me 10K. Like, okay, like I'm gonna be real here for a second. If you've watched my things before, like me streaming my videos, hopefully you know me and you know that I don't really like bragging and like saying like how much money I earn and stuff, just because it feels icky. But I will say, like, just so it's out there at least once, or I've probably said it before, but like, since this is being posted to me, the most I've ever been paid for one like piece of copy, like one project of copy, was $26,000, and that was for like one funnel, but like not a massive funnel. So yes, like I get paid like a lot of money to do copywriting and now to do marketing, like more generally. So yes, it's possible to get paid like 10K plus months. Yes, it's possible to be a six-figure copywriter. Yes, it's possible to earn loads of commissions for yourself. How likely is it? Like, not likely for most people, because that's why most people don't succeed in copywriting. But yes, it is possible if you need to know that. If you're a teenager and you're thinking, can I get 10K out of copywriting? It's definitely less likely. I know there are a lot of people out there on YouTube, like gurus, who like to hype that up and go like, oh, any age you can make like, 10K. Like, look at all these kids who are making 10K. Often, and I know this from personal experience, from like how I've seen these companies, like companies I've worked for, and how they kind of prop these gurus. Often that is bullshit. Often like that's just straight up lies, and these are just kids who say they make this much, and then they're either in it with the person, and say like, yeah, here's this stuff, or they're just fake. They're just like fake people that they just make up and say, oh yeah, this person earns like 15K and does this. It's not hard to fake a testimonial and a page, and to pay people to do testimonial videos. Like, it's not hard. Or in other cases, they are just one-offs where, of the hundreds or thousands of people in these people's communities, there's like one or two that have that lucky break and do it. Like, it's not an average, and it's not really likely. So please be careful for anyone who's saying to you like, oh yeah, you can make 10K really easily. Like, you can make 10K, and you can make 10K quite easily if you do it in the right way, but it's not like an immediate, oh yeah, you just need to write this bit of copy in this way, in this style, and you get loads of money. A lot of people try and do that, and not many of them do. Me makes you, okay, right, okay, that was, yeah, so hopefully I've answered that. Yo, I'm a fan, but suck at copy. Dude, even if you don't want to be a copywriter, still like you watching. Why not? It's fun. Come hang out. But you can get better at copy, and hopefully we're telling you how to do it. Dicks out for Alex. Always, Hough. Always. Hope you review mine, lol. It's bad. I'm going to be spinning through everyone's really quickly now. Wow, 20K. Yeah, that's what I thought at the time. so we should be asking for at least 20k a project. Yeah, if you're not earning like 20k per page, then why even bother being a copywriter? So definitely don't take any less than that, especially if you're a beginner. If you're a beginner, don't work for free. Work for 20k or nothing. That's it. Some of my opinions are not real opinions. Okay, so we've spoken at that page. We've spoken at that email, which is a good email, so why don't Ollie? Alex, this is the start of damn, there was a question in that one as well, wasn't there? I feel bad. Let me stop sharing and get that back up, and remember what that question was. I'm not going to be able to edit this thing tonight. I always do this. I always say only a few more. Oh crap, now that's gone. What's happening? Where are we? Exclusive boutiques. This was NO, that's why it was cool. NO, my boy. Let me share again. Present. Share screen. Window. StreamYard. Share. Where'd that go? Roast my landing page. Wait, what, is there a landing page? Lift email for roast my landing page. I'm not sure what that means. Also, I have a question for you, Alex. I'm thinking of buying this email marketing course from Digital Marketer since it's 80% off at $95. This link for what it includes. Could you let me know if you think this sounds like worth my visiting more time? Email marketing mastery. I like, I don't know a ton of stuff about digital marketer. Like, obviously, is it Ryan Dice? Right, like that's the dude, yeah. Right? Like, am I completely losing my nut here? It is Ryan Dice, right? Or is it someone completely different? I'm so bad with like names in the copywriting space and stuff. I might be completely wrong on that. Anyway, should you buy it? Dude, I don't know. I'm sure it's probably good. Like if it's actual copywriters. Alex B. Tony, I know her. I was asked to do a thing in a course, which I said no to. I haven't even told the copy that guys that yet. But they wanted to have me on a page like this, and I was like, "There's no way I'm well known enough to be on a page like this." It is Ryan Dice. Okay, good. I'm not going mad. I thought it was. Honestly, dude, I'm sure it's probably fine. I'm sure you've got the weight behind it of people who are well known. I'm sure it's decent. Do I think you need it? Like, probably not. Is there stuff in there that you couldn't learn for free? Maybe a couple of things, but like, if you want something that's structured, then sure, go for it. Why not? Like, but if you don't have the money, and if spending that money is like a real big decision for you, I would probably say like don't, just because you don't need to. But that's just my opinion. We got like a sense of humor. Thank you, Mark. I like yours too, since you like mine, which probably means we have a similar sense of humor. Do you use any AI tools for creating copy? If yes, would you mind sharing the ones you use? And we like that. I have never used an AI tool to write copy. That is not because I'm taking a stance against it. That's just because I don't need to, and I can't be bothered using them. And certainly, I'm not in a position where I wouldn't get paid if I didn't know how to use them. Like most clients, I know everyone's talking about AI like it's this massive thing, but like honestly, like less than 5% of businesses are using it, and I don't think it's ever gonna get above that like 50% threshold, because most businesses don't like know how to do it themselves. So they'll always just hire someone for it. Whether you use AI to do that work or you do it yourself, like, is up to you. But I think when you get into offer creation and marketing strategy, you start to realize like there's stuff that's more important than just the copy for making stuff work. Especially if you're freelancing and you're consulting with businesses. So I'm not worried about it, and I'm not I don't think you need to know how to use it. I don't think it will ever replace people or the need for people in some way. Yeah, so I don't use it personally. Nothing against people who do. Like, some people really like it. Some people I see use it to like generate like headline ideas or do bits of research. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't, and I'm too lazy to want to explore it anyway. Alex, I will hang on. Alex, this is the start of a homepage for a gardening file I'm using as a spec piece. We're selling a magazine subscription with the option to upgrade. Insert the names here that offers special gardening. Would like your feedback as so far I'm be a little by the audience solution where I think people have tried gardening before and doing alright. They want to know about the next step. Relax, forage, and bask in the beauty of your home garden. Challenges rain down on the journey of taking your garden from seed to bloom, which is exactly why we've partnered with the world-class Green Thumbs, delivering you proven gardening techniques. What is this, a homepage? Homepage for a gardening file I'm using as a spec piece. Homepage is always difficult, especially if you're kind of starting a funnel from them, because it's like, how are people getting here? Is this from SEO? Is it like, are people searching gardening tips or something and you're being a first result? Are they being driven from an email? Are they being driven from a PPC ad? Like, what is it? Because relax, forage, and bask in the beauty of your home garden. If it's a homepage often represent a company, and like that means appealing to a lot of different people and like acting quite neutral. So unless you have like one specific funnel and where you want to go and one person you're aiming at, homepages are quite difficult to judge in that respect. You know, I always say a homepage should either be a sales page, or it should be a navigational page where you are like just directing people to the best place that they will find in your website. You know, it's like purely a helpful value thing. You know, it can certainly be a mix of both, but yeah. So like, what is it actually trying to do? Magazine subscription is basically what you're trying to get people towards. So that's what this is going to go to. Relax, forage, and bask in the beauty of your home garden. Challenges rain down. We've delivered this, give you proving gardening techniques every month. So again, I would say if like you can be quite direct about the gardening magazine. So like, relax, forage, and bask in the beauty of your home garden. Like it's not really doing anything. Like, you can talk about the magazine like in your headline if you want to. You know, you can say like, you know, the only magazine, if it's true, or like the only magazine designed for beginner gardeners or designed for X. You know, it's simple to just do like unique thing that you're selling for call out that gives benefit, right? So something like you know, the only gardening, the only dedicated gardening magazine for beginners. So a call out that takes you from bloom, or was it? What did you say? Takes you from seed to bloom. Everything you need to know about building your perfect garden, and then like subscribe below, right? Like, that's not a particularly incredible headline, but you're showing people like who this is for, what it's going to do for you, what it actually is, and a clear CTA for why you should do it right now. That's, you know, if you're starting this as a funnel for a magazine, that's probably going to be more effective than a relatively like fluffy headline and a fluffy subhead. So that's how I'd recommend changing that. How we helped Catlin transform her worn-down greenhouse. Yeah, I think I've said this before, like with anything kind of, I mean, I know this isn't service-based, but with anything homepage-based, I think this is always a pretty solid idea, is showing an example of where you've done good before, so people can imagine themselves in there. So I think that's fine. Testimonials, ancient gardening with a splash of Bondi green thumb tactics, finding a good strategy. Honestly, if you used an idea more like this, the headline, I think it'd be even like up there. I think it'd be more interesting. You know, for example, like you know, discover ancient gardening techniques through a monthly subscription or through a monthly magazine, or a dedicated magazine, or you know, magazine delivered straight to your door every month. You know, the only magazine that unveils ancient gardening technique or whatever, right? Like, that's at least showing me why this is unique and why I should use it, or why I might need it. Finding a good strategy that lets you harvest more fruits for the same amount of labour sounds nice, doesn't it? Our world-class gardening partners have carefully pruned away any tactic new world is aimed at yielding you more crispy, crunchy lettuce, most of our midsummer yellow-coloured flowers, most loamy soil. Again, I have no idea if these are things that people care about in the gardening world. I'm sure they probably are. And you know, like, I quite like this style. You know, if this is what people care about, But again, I would say it's kind of all over the place. It's a bit like, hey, we can help you have a really nice garden. Like, here's a magazine for you to download. This is someone who used our stuff and is now doing really well. By the way, we do ancient stuff. You want some lettuce and flowers and soil? Cool. Remember, 75% use old stuff. Like, it's just a bit all over the place. Like, I think if you themed this more towards, from the beginning, about how this is like ancient tactics to get the best garden, and then you bled that into, right, and we share them with you in this magazine, and it's the only place you can get them, and, you know, to make sure this is kind of kept, you know, tightly kept, we only send you a physical magazine every month. So only you will have those tactics. We don't post about them anywhere online. That is a much stronger reason for me to buy a magazine physically. Say, well, we don't just want these online because these are things that our experts actually find and uncover and unveil and harness and hone themselves. So we want to send it to people who are most dedicated and keep it within our community. There you go. That's a great angle for a gardening magazine. So yeah, that's what I'd say about that. Guys, I need to. Oh man, I need to go because I really need to edit some stuff for Patreon. I am sorry this hasn't been the most attentive, and I'm sorry I haven't got through all of these. It's so hard for me to not like read them. Okay, right. You know what? I'm gonna let you guys decide, and this may be biased, right? Oh, sorry, I left that up. I'm gonna let you guys decide on this. Either I can finish critiquing this copy, 1, 2, 3, 4 things. I can either finish critiquing this copy for you guys, and then I'm going to bed because I need to get up early tomorrow. Or I can go and finish editing my how to earn money from e-commerce copywriting and e-commerce marketing masterclass that will go to the Patreon, and that will be up tomorrow. What would you guys prefer? Would you rather I finish doing this stuff now, or I went and edited that so Patreon's got another masterclass for today/tomorrow? You guys decide right now. Which one do you want me to do? Stay and do this, or go and do the e-commerce stuff so you guys can have a new masterclass? Please decide, because we will do it by popular vote. Because I am indecisive and I don't like making decisions. And while you guys are giving me answers to that, I'll do this. Is it a good idea for newbies to use AI? You know what? This is something where I will take a strong stance. I don't think it is. I think that you should learn the principles and the basis of copy yourself first before you try and incorporate it into AI. I'm sure the argument against that is some people would say, oh yeah, but AI is the future, so you need to know how to use it, like from the get-go. Nope, I think bollocks. I think you can pretty much learn how to use AI if you ever need to use it within like a few hours of Googling. But what you can't learn within a couple hours is like the basics of the fundamentals of copywriting, and practice that and putting them into your psyche. So I personally don't think it's a good idea for newbies to use AI. I think you should do it the pure way first, so you understand why things are and aren't good. Because AI can make something for you. You ultimately still have to judge whether or not that's going to work. Alex, I want to learn more about e-com. Not writing for e-com stores, but everywhere I look for free information, it's just through talking about dropshipping, selling trash products from China. Okay, if you're a Patreon, go and watch my e-commerce series, because like I explain the basics of e-commerce in that, like in the first bits. And I know obviously I'm biased, but I've been told by people that it's like the best explanation of e-commerce and the different kind of categories that they've heard, because like you've said, most people talk about e-com just talk about dropshipping, where I actually kind of just give you a full view of everything. So there's that. In terms of other free e-com people who I think are quite good, I think Ezra Firestone is pretty good. Like his free stuff is decent, so I'd go and watch him if you haven't already. Yeah, and then I also have, I might be about to edit my other e-commerce thing. It'll be up on Patreon soon, and I have the product page masterclass, which I talk quite a bit about that. With TikTok ads, do you know where is the best place to learn about e-com? I don't have a resource for TikTok ads, but again, good TikTok ads are pretty much just like either a video demonstration of the product that is so good that it sells itself, or it's kind of like quick, snappy, almost like Dick style, disrupt, intrigue, click kind of things, where it's like it gets your attention, shows something that's really cool that you want to know about, or it's interesting, usually a demonstration of a product, and then hey, go here to buy. Like that's what ecom ads boil down to on TikTok mainly. I'm sure I'm following Sean's advice to annotate my written copy, but I'm not sure I'm doing it correctly. Could you recommend a video demonstrating the entire process? Where do we show the entire process of annotating copy? I can't think of one where we do like everything, like where we annotate all the copy. You know what? If you go back to like the original Copy That streams on like Twitch, that's all that they used to do. So like, even before I was on Copy That, like all they used to do was like annotate sales letters and sales pages and stuff. Also, there's Sean's one of how to annotate, which I would recommend you watch. Which again, if you just go on the Copy That YouTube channel, it was one of the earliest videos. But it's how to, I think it's called like how to critique copy or how to annotate copy, something like, or how to break down, no, how to reverse engineer sales letters. I think that's it. Watch that. What type of copy do you usually write for clients? I mean, I now am the head of sales and marketing for a health tech company, so I do a lot of SaaS. I do a lot of health. I do a lot of landing pages, of course, but mainly emails, push notification copy, event copy I've done recently. In terms of clients outside of that, when I do consulting, it tends to be website copy. My own businesses tends to be emails, website, sales pages, stuff like that. Hopefully that helps. Other than emails and sales landing pages, which I think is pretty much everything I just said. Not much else outside that, I guess. I've done little bits here and there. I've done SMS. I've done a bunch of UI UX product copy. I've done packaging. But no, like sales pages, landing pages, emails, product pages, they are the bread and butter. Yeah, you can go because I got to go too. Cool. AI, like any other tool, you can't use it if you're a beginner. Yep. I think you should go too. Cool. Yeah, you got to go finish masterclass, but thanks to that. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to go in a minute. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you, Glaz. Thank you, Mark. Hey, Alex, I think you might have skipped over my email. I did not skip over your email. I did it. I reviewed it, and it was good. So go and scroll back. What's what I'm trying to say here? Scroll back. Go back in this video and watch me do it, because it was a good email. Ollie. So yeah, go watch that, because it was really good and it's impressive. So you can see my whole breakdown of it if you scroll back down. If you scroll back in the video. If you're going to piss yourself later for pushing off your other editing, then don't push it off. I almost certainly will, Chelsea. So thank you for reminding me to love myself. Have you ever had a thought where you wanted to give up copywriting in the beginning? I'm going to be honest here and say I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I think I probably... Yeah, I mean, like, there were definitely days and evenings where I was like, I'm putting so much work in here, and, like, I'm almost too scared to get a client, or I haven't got a client yet. So, like, yeah. So, yeah, there definitely was. I can't remember, like, an exact moment or time where I was like, oh, this is why I'm going to push through. But there definitely were times where I was like, oh, man, this is tough. But for me, it was always underlying was always this idea that I want to do this because it's actually fun and it's interesting, and copywriting to me has always been fun. Like, I've always loved it. So my thing was never, oh, I'm not making money yet, so why do I keep doing it? It was often things like, oh god, man, this is like hard, or I don't think I'm very good, or would the clients even want to, would they even hire me for copy stuff? Is it even viable to make a business out of this? Rather than like, oh, I'm not making money quickly enough. It was more around those kind of things. Oh damn, I'm blind. I know. Yeah, damn right. You should apologize to me because I love you. And you don't respect it. Joking. Anyway. Okay. I'm really sorry, guys. Because there are two here, especially that I want to do because they're for my products. So, like, different, relevant, successful, and copy. Give them a show. But I really need to go and edit something. You know what I might do? Before I leave, I might go live tomorrow. Before I leave. And I know not everyone will be able to view tomorrow because it's going to be at a weird time probably if I do it, but I will try and review these things tomorrow, okay? And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to bookmark them after I go off. So I'm going to say that's the end of the stream. As G-Man says, you are very tired. I am very tired. I need to go and edit stuff first before I go to bed. But thank you for saying that. So yeah, let's stop screen sharing, which I could have done ages ago. Thank you guys for joining the stream, this Whetstone Wednesday. I know we got through 3 or 4, maybe 2.5 hours. I need to go and do some stuff. But if you're a patron, look out later tonight / tomorrow, because there will be a brand new masterclass all about e-commerce copywriting and e-commerce marketing and how to make money from it, which is actually it's fun because obviously it's the route that I took. So hopefully it's useful. When will I go live tomorrow? What time? I don't know yet because again, I don't know if you heard at the beginning, but I'm moving house at the moment, so everything's a bit up in the air. But these live videos get saved onto our YouTube channel, so just go in the live tab and they're all there. So even if you miss it live, you'll still be able to see it. Alright guys, I'm going to head off. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful time, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week and earn all the money that you deserve. Not that you want, but that you deserve, because you might be a dick. Yeah, so I'll send out the e-commerce masterclass as soon as possible. I hope you enjoy it. So thanks very much guys, talk to you again soon. Bye bye.